Actually, Rebecca, how about you stand between, and then Pam, you come on in if you want to. Do you want to be on camera? Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. So I'm Vegan Stoner Lady here with Anti-Animal Use. We're here at Vancouver, Washington at the Waterfront Park, and we're going to talk to some people about their values and just, seeing if they're living in alignment with them. And I think as good neighbors, it's totally fine to talk to your neighbors about living ethically and by our own principles. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic around and introduce our team. We'll start with Elvin here.
I'm Elvin. I also go as Vegan on Instagram. I'm also with Total Liberation now. We do the same type of thing, just abolitionist conversations with people, asking them about their ethics and seeing if they're consistent. If they have any interest in learning more about their connection with animals. So yeah.
Hey, oh, sorry, I got distracted by your sparkly nails. Oh. Sorry. It's like, my name's Rebecca, and I'm also the Uncaged Front, and I have a blog, and I just put out a new blog post like last week, a few days ago, and I'm on Instagram. Love being here with Anti-Animal Use, and just to try and challenge some people here on the streets of Vancouver today.
I'm Minx. My Instagram is militant_Minx. I am a part of AAUA and DXC Portland.
Hi, I'm Pam. Thank y'all for being here.
Yay! Awesome. And with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's see. I saw Daniel in here. Hey, Lambretta. Hello. Morning. Daniel says morning legends. So, yeah. Let's see. It looks like we're up on the YouTubes. I don't know when it popped in, but we are here in Vancouver, Washington at the Waterfront Park, and we're asking people about their values. We're going to see if they're actually living in alignment with those principles, and not so much here to fight or argue, more like to be a neighbor and be like, hey, I think you share these values with me, but your actions are actually showing the opposite. I understand we have a culture and traditions and society, but we can look at our habits and our actions and ask, is this harming someone? And if there's a direct victim, don't you think that we have a responsibility to take, action and not demand someone's exploitation anymore when we can avoid doing that?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can put this on there. There we go. Just so we can read. Okay, good. The mic's still on. So how you guys doing? Please make sure you're tapping, sharing, liking. We want to get anti-animal use to more people to hear about veganism and how veganism actually aligns with their own values. What's up, vegan engineer? Good to see you. I started moonwalking during the interval of Michael Jackson movie. People behind me started yelling, sit your ass down. Okay, well, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. We're talking about sentient beings who deserve their inherent rights to be upheld and respected just like us. All right, hey, it's good to see y'all. Vegan for Live, hey. So yeah, we're gonna start having conversations today. If you're not vegan and you're watching, and maybe you have a question, you want us to answer it, go ahead and put it in the chat and I will try to respond. Let's see, maybe I'll hold this one. I'll hold a sign too. It just feels right to hold a sign. Yes, thank you vegans for being here. Make sure you're tapping, sharing, and liking. We want to get this out there as soon as possible to as many people as possible. Let's get a conversation started.
Hey, I just wanted to say hello. I kind of went brain dead for a minute there when I saw Sparkle. So I just want to say hello to all the great vegans and all the other people in the chat.
Make sure that you go check out the Uncaged Front, the blog, because it's actually really good. I just read the most recent upload. Hi, do you want to have a conversation? We're doing a social experiment? Okay, all right. Hello. I'm really fan of smartness, guys. Well, so yeah, me too. We're out here standing on the sidewalks. Oh, you brought the umbrellas. Thank you so much. That's so many umbrellas. Thank you.
I hope some of them are effective.
Brought some umbrellas for us to stay nice and comfortable.
Well, honestly,
here. Make sure that we're still straight. Yeah. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty straight. So we're holding signs that say social experiment, and then we flip them over, or we can hold them like this, and they say, should the powerful have the right to oppress the powerless? Thank you. Y'all are good vegans too. We try to be smart, but it's not so much about, how many facts we know. It's more like we recognize someone is sentient. And when we're sentient, we deserve our inherent rights to be respected. Oh, we might get our first interview. I wish that you could see the skyline a little more. It's so beautiful out. Well, we're here in Vancouver, Washington at the Waterfront Park. And we just want everyone to live in alignment with their values.
Rebecca's already in a conversation off camera, so hopefully we'll see more people.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, there we go. We don't need that.
No.
Are you able to read the chat?
Yep.
Yeah.
It should be the chat right here. So actually, now that we are talking about the chat, hey guys, give me 1 second. I have to, oops, it's not that button. I forgot. It's this button, that button, and then we can see everyone's message. Same thing over here. All messages. And then there you go. You got the full chat there. But you can also look at it on your phone too if you want, because we are live. Hey, Lewis, good to see you. Wow, already with the misogyny. What you doing? We're out here in Vancouver, Washington, talking to people about their values to see if they're actually in alignment with them. If there are any non-vegans in the chat, which I do see some triggered souls, if you could please list out your reasons for not being vegan, and we can address them until we start getting a conversation on camera.
If you don't have a reason, then just wait and listen and see what you can learn. Although if you do have a reason, then leave it in the comments.
I do see some violence in the chat. Do you think that that would be okay for me to do to you? Right? Just because we disagree on something, do you want me to use physical harm against you? Do you think that's a world we should live in? I'm so vegan, I don't even use antibacterial spray. Well, I see that you're another triggered soul. Veganism is actually an ethical stance against the exploitation of other sentient beings. That's just a summary of it. We basically just don't want to demand someone's enslavement for us because I don't want to be enslaved for someone else. So appealing to futility by saying, I don't wash bacteria off my hands because I don't want to take their life is just silly because they're not sentient. And self-defense is also understandable. Yeah, please be respectful. Well, we don't need to be violent at them either.
Oh my god.
If people stop eating beef and drinking milk, how do you see the future cows in the wild? They would be free. I don't mind people being vegan. I just don't plan on switching is all. Well, what do you think the animals would prefer you to do? When you say that you don't want to switch, who are you actually hurting, yourself or the other animals?
Hi, Daniel. Hi, Lambretta.
The message here is that we shouldn't use others when we can't get their consent. We shouldn't use others unfairly for our benefit. Yeah, vegan meat is superior. So again, we're here in Vancouver, Washington. We're having conversations with people. We're at the Vancouver Waterfront Park, and it is gorgeous out. It's a little toasty, but the weather definitely looks really nice. And there's people walking around. A nice day. Waiting for us to have a conversation. We've actually got a nice little corner that gets a lot of different paths. So.
Yeah. Well, you know why? Because and it's great. I mean, they're dying because they're being killed.
So abortion is actually a medical procedure between someone who's pregnant and their doctor. It has nothing to do with exploitation. What we're talking about is demanding someone be used for you when it's unnecessary.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
crops to feed animals. Sir Double crops to feed animals. Oh, is that their name?
I think so.
Give Chip's mic back. We actually had this first.
Somebody really wants to know about lab-grown meat.
Oh, what was the question? I didn't see it.
Just they're asking our thoughts on lab-grown meat.
Oh.
And our position right now is that we don't have to wait for lab-grown meat to be developed to boycott the exploitation of animals today, because most of us have access to plant options. But it could be a useful tool for our animals that we rescue, such as snakes, who require flesh in order to survive.
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly how I feel as well. And you know, lab-grown flesh just isn't available right now. But for us humans, we definitely can. We have everything we need right now, just like Cooper said. I saw a question about if an animal consented, would I want to consume their body? This answer is no, because I still see them as a sentient being. I don't, just like a person, if a person told me that I could consume them, I'm not interested, even if they give me the consent. So, because I see them as a person, and to eat them feels disrespectful. The iron and the B12 in real meat are way easier for our bodies to actually absorb. Fake meat is just mimicking the look, not the nutrition. I would actually encourage you to look on the research on that, because a lot of these alternatives, they do have the vitamins that are similar to the animal-based products, so the exploitation-based products, I should say. So if you're worried about getting your nutrition, you can get your nutrition using plants. You don't need to use others and their bodies.
Oh, it's just coming up here.
Oh, yeah.
But also B12 is injected into cows, so that is where the B12 comes from. It does not come from them naturally. So we may as well cut out the middleman and just take the supplement ourselves.
Yep, exactly. Well put. Yep, you're filtering your vitamins through someone else's body, and that's unnecessary. I don't take B12 and I'm okay. Yeah, see, some people don't. There's also B12 in fortified foods. I would encourage most people to look into supplementation if they feel like it's too much work to watch what they eat. I take supplements because I get lazy. Yeah, there are days I'm going to eat junk food, and I know I'm not going to get everything. And that's okay. Many non-vegans also take supplements for the same reason, just to get their nutrients. So there's nothing wrong with supplements. Yeah, so I see a comment that says, I like eating meat, it tastes great. Does your taste pleasure really morally justify taking someone's life? You know, the vegan alternatives are actually quite tasty, but let's say that they're 70% less, or excuse me, they're like 70% as tasty as the animal-based product. Does that 30% difference really justify taking someone's everything? You know, exploiting them, using them unfairly. Iron supplements don't deliver through the body as eating meat. Well, you know, interestingly enough, if you don't want to use animals and you maybe talk to a dietitian that can help you with that, they can tell you ways to absorb your iron. There's little tricks like using vitamin C, or, you know, not consuming caffeine around the time that you ingest your your iron.
Another way to get iron through being vegan is they have these little iron fish. It's just a little fish cut out that is 100% iron. They also come in leaves and shell forms. But you just put them in your tea with a few drops of citrus or some sort of soup, and you just let it boil for 10 minutes. That's a great way to get iron.
I never thought about it with the tea. That's a good idea. I always thought about it with soup.
Yeah.
Tea is a really good. I just had tea last night too. Yes, I'm gonna do that now. But I just take a little supplement if I'm worried about it. It's an inexpensive way to make sure I get my nutrition.
Iron leaf is like $10.
Yeah, not very much at all. I know those are pretty inexpensive.
It lasts a very long time too, like basically forever. As long as you take care of it properly.
Yeah, just oil it up.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I actually use a cast iron for the same reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Are you Inuit? Because if you're just hiding behind another group of people, that's tokenizing another group. It's not right. If someone who is an Inuit wants to come to the conversation, totally open to that. You know, I want to talk to those that have their obstacles, but I don't want to talk about other people's obstacles because they're not here to defend those obstacles.
I see people talking about honey.
Oh, yeah. So honey does seem on surface, you know, fine. But when you look at it, it takes someone their entire life to make 1/12 of a teaspoon. So you're relying on their whole life's labor to make a tiny bit of goo for you. And, you have to ask yourself, why are they making this? Is it because they want to cater to humans, or is it because they want to feed their colony? And we have bred them so that they overproduce now, but that's similar to how we've done to cows. We've taken something they naturally do and we've made them handicapped because of it. And then we blame that handicap as an excuse to keep exploiting them. When really, if we just stop breeding them, let them live out their lives, that's the most ethical thing to do. And we can use alternatives. We've got sugar, we've got syrup, date syrup.
Agave.
I've heard some questionable things about agave, so definitely
really?
check. Yeah, specifically blue agave.
Oh, okay.
But I think it has more to do with tequila than agave syrup, because
Gotcha.
the tequila industry, I guess, they wipe out blue agave before the bats in the area can consume it, so they can't eat off the flowers. They're harvested before that. I need water. I can hear my mouth.
Oh, yeah.
But they some farmers will actually leave. They have sustainable practices where they'll leave half of their crop so that the bats do have food.
Gotcha.
But it's hard sometimes to source the agave. So, just always proceed with caution and do your research.
Also, you can make your own honey out of apple juice. You could boil it down a lot, and it kind of gives the consistency of honey after a few hours. Add a little bit of sugar, and you have a vegan honey.
That is a beautiful suggestion. Yes, apple honey is good too. So yeah, it's delicious. I don't know if you've ever had apple honey. You should try it. It's honey, but not used, or it's not made from exploitation. So our point is that, it's more like asking a question. Don't you agree that if we can avoid exploiting someone, that we should, when we can get everything we need from other sources, when it's completely unnecessary? Shouldn't we avoid demanding someone's exploitation? Yeah, you don't need to eat avocados. You can be vegan and not eat a single avocado. Same thing with almonds. You don't need to eat almonds.
You don't even need to eat soy.
Yeah, actually,
I know a lot of people have that allergen, and yeah, a lot of plant-based meats do not contain soy anymore. It's pea protein, wheat gluten.
Yep, exactly. And even years ago, when I first went vegan, I actually avoided soy for like first 5 years. So if you really wanted to avoid soy, you could easily get everything you need. See, answer my question. Of all the things going on in the world, would you worry about meat eaters? So we actually are concerned with all issues going on in the world, and we feel that this is a big part of all oppression is really interlinked. And you're saying that when you use other animals, you're saying it's okay to use someone unfairly because they're not in your group, because of some arbitrary trait that you deem lesser. And we're just calling it out and saying that's ableism, that these beings, they care about what happens to themselves. It's speciesism, because you're using their species as an excuse to oppress them and to use them like objects, to objectify them. We're asking, do you think that's right? Do you think that we should just look at them as resources to be used? Vegans kill rodents and insects. Yeah, so veganism isn't against killing anybody. It's actually against the exploitation, the unfair use of others. If you're taking someone's life for your benefit, that is exploitation. If you're in self-defense, that's self-defense. That's understandable. But
Also, a lot of the crops that are fed, like 70%, are fed to livestock. So if you want to stop the crop deaths, you would stop eating meat.
we can improve how we grow crops. You can't remove the exploitation from using other animals. Let's see, do we have a... Awesome. Hell yeah, we'll start. I'll take you right here. So I'll have you stand right there in that square. My name's Anna, what's yours?
Jeff Turner, how are you?
Yeah, I'm Anna. I said I was going to do well. I want to ask you, why are you here? What's bringing you out to the park?
We just moved here from Los Angeles and decided not to fly back last night to close out our house sale because we enjoyed the days here the last 2 days.
Yeah, especially today. The sun
It's gorgeous, yeah.
is gorgeous. It's cooking
Absolutely
me a little
beautiful.
bit, but it's lovely to be outside. We've been locked up inside too long. So I wanted to ask, what do you think about the dynamics between the powerful and the powerless? Do you think the powerful should have the right to mistreat or misuse the powerless? No?
No, of course not.
I agree. What do you think about when we consider someone of a different species, like animals that we use for food, clothing, circus, zoo? Would you consider us humans the powerful oppressing the powerless in that situation?
To me, that's depends. There's a lot of,
Yeah.
ethical context needs to be taken into consideration there.
Mhm.
I grew up on a farm in the summer, so I have a different relationship with what I would call domestic livestock than I do with testing on animals or zoos or circus animals. I view all of I don't lump those all into one category.
Okay. Like the circus and the zoo, would you say that those are moral institutions for the animals?
Again, depends on the zoo.
Okay.
I've been to what I would call safari parks where, there is at least an attempt to make the environment feel and look and behave like the natural environment. At least it's an attempt. I think there's some relative benefit to being able to visit those zoos and to, at least to be able to get a perspective on the world. In some situations, though, no, absolutely not. When I go to a zoo like the LA Zoo, for example, and I'm looking at orangutans in a completely enclosed cement setting, that's not a happy scenario for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because their experiences matter, right?
Yeah, 100%.
If we don't need to keep them in enclosed spaces, we shouldn't do that.
No, I mean, I think if everybody had the resources to be able to go and see these animals in the wilds for themselves, that would be a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think zoos were one of those things that were put together to try and create experiences for others. At least that's my hope for a zoo was. I don't know what the original inclination for the creation of zoos was.
I definitely hear the benefit that for us, we can go see these individuals.
No, there's
what
no
they look
benefit
and
to
do.
the animal at all.
Right. Yeah. Do you think that they want to be there?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Of course
so
not.
from their perspective, do you think that zoos are fair?
Only in the sense that they're getting fed and not having to fight for their life, depending on what kind of animal they are.
Yeah. If you were them, would you find it fair?
I mean, you're asking me to try and think like an animal.
Yeah. Why not?
Of course, if I'm going to force my opinion into it, no, of course I wouldn't think it was fair.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to trade places with them.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
What about, so you said vivisection. Do you think that there's something that justifies doing, testing our cosmetics on them?
I do think cosmetics, no. No.
Yeah.
Life-saving drugs, yes, absolutely.
There's actually something interesting, and I encourage you to check it out.
Sure.
That the 100% of the of all the animal studies that passed when they tested something in them and it passed,
They don't
safe,
work on humans.
Yeah, 96%
Yeah.
of them fail in
No,
humans.
I literally just read a study in that yesterday where some of the new drugs that are being tested and DNA issues and some of the most recent stuff coming out of AI that are being tested in mice that are proven to cure cancer in mice have zero impact on humans.
Yeah.
So I think the right path forward, quite frankly, is to create better human modeling
Yes.
and to do that inside of a virtual environment.
I totally agree.
We're not getting great results from animal testing.
Yeah, we shouldn't, and again, their experiences matter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the conversation, you framed the question properly in that if those animal tests were producing higher percentages of human success,
Yeah.
I'd feel differently about it.
Sure. Yeah. If we have an alternative, though, would that still change your mind? Like maybe animal testing in this hypothetical is higher in whatever percentage, but if we have an alternative, do you agree that because the animals care about what's happening to themselves, that if we can use that alternative, we should?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. I'm right on par with
100%.
you. I agree.
I don't understand. In fact, I can't understand the logic of how anyone wouldn't feel that way.
I agree.
Yeah.
I've heard opinions, this is an anecdotal story, but people that work in studying, where they study on animals, they say they shut their brain off because they have to just think of them as an object.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they can't get through their day.
Yeah.
So since we agree that if we don't need to do this to animals for cosmetics or even testing for
Sure.
medicines. If we agree that same thing with animals in zoos, what about when it comes to wearing them for like fur or their leather?
Listen, I'm a t-shirt and shorts guy.
Yeah.
I'm not big in furs. We've progressed to the place that I think we're way past needing to kill animals to clothe ourselves.
I agree. Yeah, exactly. We have hemp, we've got cotton, we've got synthetics,
Yeah,
we've got so many
100%.
alternatives. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So it sounds like we do actually have a lot of the same principles. What about when it comes to using animals for food? Is there something you think we do need from them that may justify what we do to them?
I don't know. I joke all the time. I'd be a vegetarian if animals didn't taste so good.
Yeah, no. Funny fact, and I know this is kind of weird, but if you look at anecdotal stories, apparently humans taste like bacon. So it's like that raises the question that if we taste like bacon, does that justify farming?
I'm going to bet that not all humans taste like bacon.
Right?
That's
Well,
just
some
my
of them
bet.
might. Some of them might.
Some of them might.
Yeah. Would that justify eating a human?
No.
Yeah, I agree.
No,
So
no,
then,
no.
I guess what is it in your mind that separates us from other animals that would justify what we do to them?
Nothing
Yeah, I agree.
other than the way we've designed our lives.
Yeah. Why do you think they're there?
Animals?
Yeah, the ones that we use. Why do you think they're there?
Well, I mean, I don't subscribe to the traditional storyline, so I don't know why they're there.
Oh,
I don't know why I'm.
Well, do you know about supply and demand?
Of course.
Yeah. So when we purchase something,
Mhm.
the producers see that and they put money to replace what you purchased, right?
Sure, of
So they
course.
birth another individual into existence just to meet that demand.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you see how you could play a part in, not supporting animal
100%.
exploitation?
Like listen, I am not ashamed of the fact that I eat meat. I like eating meat.
Would you
but
be
we
ashamed
eat,
if the animal was here?
No, not at all.
If you had to talk to them, what would you say to justify it?
If I could talk to them,
Yeah.
I'd have a completely different relationship with animals.
Okay. So
Like, it's one of my greatest hopes for AI, actually, is that
Yeah.
we'll figure out how to talk to animals.
let's say AI does that. We
Mhm.
discover we can now
Well,
talk to
then,
cows.
then I'll change my feelings.
How would you feel
Exactly.
about reflecting on your past victims, knowing that now that you can speak to a cow, they are sentient and care about what happens to themselves? Wouldn't you reflect on
Again-
that negatively?
Again, if that contingency were to be real, I'd have a different feeling about it.
They're-
But I know
they are
how
actually
I know
working
how
on
I
that.
felt driving up here from Southern California,
Yeah.
passing through Stockton. Literally tens of thousands of cows kept in tight quarters.
heartbreaking.
It was very difficult to watch, and so we make lots of efforts to eat less meat, but I don't personally want to stop eating meat.
Yeah. What is it in your mind that makes that justified to keep demanding someone be born into existence just for you to have sensory pleasure?
Well, I think your framing it is a little.
Point out my framing. I would love
Your
to know
framing
the
is
flaws.
someone.
Mhm.
You're using an animal as a someone,
Yeah.
as if it's equal to a human, and
Well,
I don't.
Your value system's not necessary. They're
No.
still a subject, right?
They're a subject, but they're not a someone.
Are they sentient?
Some of them are, of course. Cow
Yeah.
is definitely.
When
Pig
someone is
definitely.
sentient, does it matter
Horse
what
definitely.
species
Like,
they are?
I've often wondered, why don't we eat horses?
Yeah. Why not?
I don't know.
Would you eat a dog?
No, absolutely
not?
Because I like my dogs.
Yeah, but why not?
Because I like my dogs.
They have a personality, right?
They have a personality. I know them.
They're a person.
I just don't eat dogs.
They have a personality.
That is
They're
my.
a person.
But that's my personal moral framing.
Yeah, that's your value system. I understand.
Sure.
Like, I value my family over your family. But just
Correct.
because my value system for my family is higher than yours doesn't give you the right to exploit your family, right?
No, but
Yeah.
my
So
family.
then what makes it okay to exploit other animals is what I'm asking.
Nothing other than history.
I guess what in your mind is making it okay? Because you sound like you wouldn't want an animal to experience unnecessary harm, right? Like if I wanted to
Correct,
kick
but
their
at,
dog
but at the
for
same
fun,
but at the same time, I've grown up. My grandmother had a chicken farm.
yeah.
I just that's how I was raised. This
What happened
this
to
was
the chickens?
we killed them and ate them.
Did it feel good to take their life?
Good's not.
Did it feel
It
pleasurable?
felt no. It felt necessary.
Is it?
No, of course not.
So
But
then,
that's the way it
isn't
felt.
it a sad story to think that all those chickens lost their life for nothing?
Sometimes.
When would it be okay?
It's okay now
Why?
because we've all decided that it's okay.
What are for them? Do they think it's okay?
I don't think they think that way.
Well, see, as an oppressor, that is common that we demean the way they think.
I understand, and I understand that the
There
way
is
you're framing the
evidence.
questions
They are a someone. I know
is
it
to
makes
present-
your position
is to-
uncomfortable.
is to present us as oppressors.
Yeah,
Right.
they're the powerless.
I totally get it.
And you agreed that the powerful shouldn't have the right to oppress the powerless, regardless of their vulnerabilities.
I agreed to that when the framing of that was around humans.
And can you articulate what is the morally relevant difference between humans and other animals that justifies this difference in treatment?
If you gave me more than the few seconds in an interview, I would probably come back with a really good answer for
Can I
it.
give you a card?
I
That
would
way you
love
can
to.
ponder about it. Let me
Yeah,
grab a card for
absolutely.
you. I feel like we've had a really honest conversation, and it was something definitely for you to think through on. So
Yeah.
on there is just our website. Would you be willing to watch a short documentary
Of
on your own
course.
time? If you click on See What I Find, it's 3 minutes, and just ask yourself if these were puppies, because you don't need to eat dogs either.
Right.
Would you want to do that?
So what's the goal of these interviews?
I think that everyone actually shares principles with us, and morally speaking, your fly is down. Your actions just aren't in alignment with your true values. You know,
Right.
I think most people don't want other animals or people to be exploited for them when it's unnecessary, because we don't want to be exploited. And we've learned that other animals are sentient. They care about what happens to themselves. And I would argue that's the only thing we care about in other humans, regardless of their intelligence, their abilities.
I agree with you, but we operate inside of a context that allows some things and doesn't allow others, and we're all influenced by that too.
Yeah, but don't you think in a time when some atrocity is happening that you should stand up against that atrocity, even if it's socially normal?
But I don't think it's an atrocity
Well, because you're not the one going through it. You're the oppressor benefiting.
I am the oppressor benefiting.
Yeah. The oppressors in slave times,
100%.
slave owners loved having slaves. It made
don't
getting labor
See,
cheap.
and this is where you're creating a moral equivalent between
Oh, it's not equivalent. It's just similar.
slavery
Yeah.
and
Sentient being
eating
was
a chicken.
robbed of their freedom for someone else's benefit, regardless of their sentience.
I do not equate chickens with humans.
That's okay. You don't need to. You just need to recognize that chickens are just like dogs.
No, actually, I don't think chickens are like dogs either.
Why not?
I
What's
just
different?
There's a massive difference.
What's the morally relevant difference?
There's no morally relevant difference.
Exactly.
There's an emotional difference.
What's the emotional difference?
I can fall in love with a dog. I've never fallen in love with a
Have
chicken.
you ever given a chicken a chance?
I have been around more chickens, I guarantee you, than you have.
You'd be surprised. I know many people that fall in love with
I'm
chickens.
sure that they do.
So then you just debunked your own point.
But they get to come up with their own moral logic behind why they make their
No, we're
decisions.
talking about the victims. They care what happens to
The
themselves.
victims in this case have no voice.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
I totally get it. I
Yeah.
really, really do.
Do you feel good being the oppressor, using others that can't talk back?
I'm gonna frame my answer differently because the way you're asking the questions are designed to lead me down
Because
a
they're a
path.
someone.
I don't see a chicken as a someone.
I know you don't.
I see a chicken as a something.
That's really convenient for you.
It's convenient.
It's not convenient for them. They lose everything because
I
you
feel-
decide to see them as an object.
I feel your passion, and I hope
It's
you.
not passion. It's that you're taking someone's life. It's life
Okay.
and death.
It is passion. You have passion for this
You
specific
don't need to demean
thing.
me what I'm doing.
Hold-
I want
hold
to
on,
focus on the victim.
hold
Don't
on.
talk
No,
about
no,
me.
No.
We're focusing on the
You're-
victims.
You're talking about me, and
You're
I'm not
talking
allowed
about
to talk
my
about you.
passion, which is just a distraction from your responsibilities.
No. I don't have
Are
the
you
same
responsible
passion.
for a certain number of animals being in the slaughterhouse?
100% I'm responsible.
Are you going to make change so that you
I
don't
am
demand them into
absolutely
existence?
not going to make any additional changes
Okay.
right this
Well,
second.
then we'll end it here. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, but I think we're going to end the conversation because I'm here to talk to people that understand that we should change our actions when we learn to do better.
You're here to convince someone to hold your position.
No, I'm here to say
You
that you're not living in
100%
alignment with your
are.
own principles. You even agreed that the powerful should not have the right to oppress
No,
the powerless.
your first question was not framed in relationship to chickens. Your first question
Yeah.
was
There's
two
no-
people.
Nope.
Your sign is 2 people.
I'm going to show the sign because everyone saw it earlier. There's no people in there.
Really?
There's humans in there, but there's no word people.
No. So you don't think that sign is sending a signal that what you're talking about is oppression of humans?
No. I think that
Really?
I think that it says
Can
that
you show
I want
that
you to come
sign
talk
again?
to me. Yes.
Because I'm assuming you're going to post this somewhere on social
Oh,
media.
it's live right now.
This is what I'm...
You haven't told me what the morally relevant difference is.
There is no morally relevant difference.
Everything you say has been a contradiction.
No.
Yes.
They're a contradiction to your personal passion about those morals.
No,
They're
you
not a
said
contradiction
the
to
powerful
mine.
shouldn't have the right to oppress powerless, and then you said because I'm powerful
In
and
the
they're powerless and
context-
voiceless,
in the
you even
context of
called them
that sign.
voiceless, that it's okay to exploit them.
I think you're right. I think we should end this conversation.
Beautiful. You have a beautiful day. Enjoy the sun.
Thank you, and you do the same.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody want to take it? There you go.
Hello to the chat. It's great to chat with y'all. Hello, you-tops. Hi, Daniel. Somebody says humans, not animals. So humans are animals. So I'm not sure what you mean when you say humans, not animals, when they are animals. Hi, Ben from Berlin. Hi, Luis. Hi, you-tops. For anybody who's joined more recently and is curious where we're at, we are here in Vancouver, Washington. We're on the waterfront. It's a beautiful day here in Washington State. And I'm opening up conversations in the chat as well as in person about the topic of animal ethics. Is it fair to exploit our animal relatives that we share this planet with when we have another option? Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Somebody says, so are these pro-vegan people? Yeah, so we're standing up for the liberation of all sentient beings, and one part of living in alignment with that is going vegan. So we are having discussions about veganism. If you have an obstacle, a personal obstacle to going vegan, or maybe a justification for exploiting other animals, leave it in the chat and I'll start up a conversation with you. Yeah, I use the term animal relatives because animals are our relatives. We too are animals, and I'm pointing to that fact when I use that terminology. Somebody says, sounds like a new cult. No, so it's an ethical principle. We don't worship anybody. We just have a principle against using others when we can. When we have the option, why wouldn't we boycott the exploitation of other animals? Let's see. Chat's moving pretty quick. There's lots of people here. Everybody who's here, I'm going to ask you, keep double tapping that screen. Keep double tapping the screen. Share the live to the vegans. Share the live to your favorite vegan chat. Let's see. Somebody says less testosterone than the pink mic. Yeah, so not concerned about my hormones, but I appreciate yours. Why is the microphone pink? Because it's pretty. Thank you for the concern. Somebody says Venus flytraps. Are we related? Yeah, we share like life with a Venus flytrap, but they're not sentient. They're not gonna feel pain and suffer like a pig or a cow or a fish. Does that make sense? Somebody says Jesus loves you. I'm not a religious person. Somebody says vegan makes you gay. So there are many heterosexual vegans, vegan activists who are here present today at this event. So if that were true, I'm not sure how that could be possible. Let me know. Somebody says, do you like turtles? I mean, yeah. If the turtle was like biting me or something, I might not like that individual, but I don't have any bias against them. I think they're neat creatures. They're our relatives on this earth. Somebody says fight harder to end abortion. So this live is about animal liberation. We're asking the question, should animals be liberated from being used needlessly as objects? What do you think? There are many lives that discuss abortion, so please hop on one of those. Everyone who's here, keep double tapping that screen, keep sharing the live. And for those who have joined recently and are curious, we are here in Vancouver, Washington. We're on the waterfront, and we're having discussions with folks in the chat, as well as with people in person when they're comfortable to come on camera, about the topic of animal ethics. Is it ethical to exploit other animals, to use them as objects for food, entertainment, clothing, testing, any other reason, when we don't need to, when we live in 2026 and we have an abundance of other options? Let me know your thoughts. Hi, Lewis. Hi, Sabby. Or Spooky, I should say. Totally wondering, somebody says, and curious, what other options are there? So within the realm of entertainment, for instance, we can choose to watch a nature documentary that captures or takes photos of animals while they are free instead of going to a zoo or a rodeo or an aquarium. Another option we have, for instance, is in the realm of food. Since we shop at grocery stores and farmers markets, we can even get seeds to grow our own plants. We have an option not to consume the flesh or secretions of our animal relatives. And if we have that choice not to exploit them, to use them, to kill them, why wouldn't we? So we're thinking about those types of contexts where humans use other animals, but they have another option. And we're asking, is it ethical for us to continue participating in that exploitation? Should we contribute to it, or should we protest against it, stand up against it, or at least not participate in it ourselves? What do you think? It's a beautiful day here in Vancouver. It's great to talk to everybody here in the chat. It's great to have the vegans here. Thank you for answering some of the questions from non-vegans in chat. I'm going to ask the vegans to put a 1 in the chat. Vegans put a 1. Non-vegans who are curious put a 2 in the chat. And the trolls, you can put a 3. Or any other number, whatever you want to put. I want to get the algorithm moving, and I want to get a sense of who's here in the room with us. Hi, Ben. Hi, Chase. I see you. Somebody says bacon. So do you think that the pleasure that you get from the consuming pig's flesh, does it justify violating their body? Does it justify taking their life from them, using them as an object? What do you think? Does your pleasure justify violence against other animals? Let us know your thoughts. Somebody says justified. Well, name the justification. You're just kind of circular saying it is justified without telling me why. Let me know. There's a lot of folks here. Everybody keep double tapping that screen. Share the live as well. We're here in Vancouver, Washington on the waterfront. It's beautiful here. Somebody says, are you a Satanist? No, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in any gods. If you have a good reason to, or if you do, that's another discussion for another day. But today we're talking about veganism and animal ethics. We're asking, is it justified to exploit other animals, to use them as objects within food, entertainment, or clothing when we don't need to, when we have an alternative today in 2026? If you have thoughts on this, leave them in the chat. If you think there's a justification for the violence, put that in the chat so I can start up a conversation with you. Somebody says they taste good. So at this, you're getting at the satisfaction that you receive when you consume animal flesh or secretions. Does satisfaction justify violence against other animals when we have another option, when we don't need to be violent towards them? Let me know. Would satisfaction be a good reason to violate the body of a dog? And if not, if it's not okay for the dog, why would it be okay for a fish or a pig or a cow? What would the difference be, do you think, between a dog and a fish or a pig and a cow that means it's wrong to exploit the dog, but acceptable to exploit the other animals? What would the difference be between the animals within them? Let's start up a conversation. Somebody says plants feel pain, don't be violent to plants. So do you have evidence that plants feel pain? All of the evidence that we've reviewed, the scientific consensus on the matter is that plants are not sentient. They do not have a central nervous system to process pain. So if you would prefer, I just want to ask what your preference would be. Would you prefer to put a pig in a gas chamber or a piece of broccoli? Which one of these entities is going to suffer? Which one of them is going to gasp for breath and scream? Let me know. I think most of us do know there's a difference between plants and animals. We just see it as a convenient way to get out of the discussion. I want everyone here to keep double tapping that screen. Share the live if you can. If you have a favorite chat, if you have some friends to share a live who'd be interested in this type of content, please do share it. I'm not necessarily here to argue with anyone, but I want to ask you to put your justification for exploiting animals in 2026 in the chat so that we can start up a conversation. We're here in Vancouver, Washington, for those who have joined more recently. Somebody says, beef gives me massive gains and I need to get huge so I can hit 405 bench. So this is a person who's a bodybuilder of some sort, or maybe just an athlete, and they have concerns that there's some obstacle to eating plant only and remaining a bodybuilder or an athlete. Well, I'm not much of an athlete. It's not something that interests me. There are vegan bodybuilders at the Olympic level. There are vegan athletes at the Olympic level. So if that's something that is interesting to you, you can pursue that while not contributing to the exploitation of our animal relatives that we share this planet with. All right. To anybody curious, we are in Vancouver, Washington State today. A lot of times anti-animal use is on the Oregon side in Portland, but today we're in Vancouver. We're on the waterfront, as you can see. It's beautiful. There's lots of people walking their dogs and walking by, and we're engaging with them, and if they're comfortable, we're going to bring them on camera. But I want to ask y'all in the chat as well, what is the justification for being violent and using other animals when we don't need to? What would justify picking up, for instance, the pig flesh in the grocery store when we could instead pick up a bag of beans or some lentils or a mock meat or a block of tofu? What justifies violating the pig when we don't need to? Let me know your thoughts. Somebody says, nice fanny pack. Thank you. Fanny packs are very convenient. Somebody says violence. Yes. They said they laughed after they put violence in quotes. But yes, what we do to other animals is absolutely violent. For those who are confused about this and might not understand it yet, I want to call you in. There's a resource called Dominion. It's free. You don't have to pay anything to watch it. Just go on YouTube, type in Dominion, and it will show you the standard practices that animals endure within farms and slaughterhouses so that you can witness that violence and realize how foolish that comment was. Somebody says, I support abortion. So there are many lives that discuss abortion ethics, but we're not necessarily here to talk about it today. I support the full bodily autonomy of people who are pregnant to make choices about their own reproductive care. That's my personal position. But today, I'm going to center the conversation around animal ethics because that's what we're here to discuss. Somebody says, humans would have went extinct if they only ate plants. So just because we needed to eat animals at some point, I want to ask, because we needed to a long time ago, does that justify using and killing animals today when we don't need to, when we have another race? What do you think? Because I understand when we needed to, the violence becomes a lot more justified. But when we don't need to, when it's needless, what would be our reason? What would be our justification for that exploitation? Let me know. Everybody here, keep double tapping that screen. Share the live as well if you can. I'm going to have the vegans to put a 1 in the chat. Vegans put a 1. Non-vegans who are curious and open-minded put a 2. And trolls put a 3. Somebody says need is on a spectrum. So if you walk to a grocery store and you can pick up a block of tofu or you can pick up a piece of a pig, you do not need to pick up the pig. That's the point we're making. So it's not necessarily a spectrum. It's, in that sense, it's a bit binary. You don't need to pick up the pig flesh because you have an alternative. Does that make sense? Somebody says, do vegans, somebody says they taste good. Do you think that the pleasure you get, the taste pleasure that you get from consuming the flesh or secretions of other animals, does that justify being violent towards them with that other option when you didn't need to be violent towards them in the first place? Justify being needlessly violent against pigs, fish, cows, and other animals. Somebody says, look up the definition of fetus. I think they're just talking about the abortion debate. I'm ready for a handoff if you are. Perfect.
Yes. You want a sign or you want a break? Awesome. Hey guys, I'm going to grab my water while I talk to you. My mouth's a little bit dry. So, we're here in beautiful Vancouver, Washington at the Waterfront Park. We're here just talking to people about morals and their ethics and seeing if they're living in alignment with their own principles. We don't worship animals. We just recognize that they're sentient, just like other humans. I don't know if you guys know this, but we actually don't have a way to confirm that other humans are sentient. So if someone's like nonverbal and maybe not as cognizant as the average, there's no way of actually knowing other than watching their behaviors if they're sentient or not. So we've done the same for other animals. Awesome. So we watch other animals' behaviors and we've come to the conclusion after thousands of peer-reviewed studies that other animals with a brain and a central nervous system are actually sentient. Or most likely, I should say. Yeah, I ran out of energy because the sun is hot, and I was standing over there, kind of jogged over. Yeah, exactly. Don't discriminate against other animals. So if you could, I see we have a bit of a spread in here. If you're vegan, put a 1 in the chat. If you're not vegan, put a 2 in the chat, just so we can see what kind of spread we've got in here. I'll put my sunglasses on. It's just too bright.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's much better. Okay. All right. So for those that just put a 2 in the chat, could you maybe think about a simple reason why you're not vegan and put it in the chat? Or if you have a question maybe that's holding you back, go ahead and put it in the chat. We'll try to address it. Why are you not vegan yet? And I'll explain what veganism is. Let's see. Cows live fantastic lives. They get constant dopamine from eating their favorite food all day and die before they're old enough to be crippled. And if we replace them with humans, do you think that's still fair? I wouldn't find that fair. So veganism is an ethical stance against the exploitation of other sentient beings. I just don't want to demand someone else's slavery because I don't want to be enslaved. It's pretty basic. Thank you, Daniel. Exactly. What's preventing you from living vegan, which is in alignment with your own values? I saw a question, why do vegans support abortion? So abortion is not actually about veganism. It's a medical procedure between someone who is pregnant and their doctor, not about demanding someone be used for you in an unfair manner. The cost and choice. So let's say it was a little more expensive. We found that it is indeed cheaper, but even if it was more expensive and you save $1 or $2, does saving $1 or $2 justify slitting someone's throat? Would you tolerate that as the excuse? And taste, again, if vegan food is delicious, I find that I enjoy my food more now than I did before. And let's say it was 30% less tasty than the animal counterparts. That still wouldn't justify taking someone's life, right? Would you want your life taken just so that someone can enjoy 30% more pleasure? I wouldn't. What justifies idiots like you overlapping and supporting other religions who kill other animals? Because I guarantee idiots like you are pro-Palestine. I am for human rights. I'm against human rights violations, right? So I am for not apartheids. I'm for people having their human rights upheld and not violated. I feel the same for other animals. Their rights are violated, and I don't think they should be. Now you have to ask yourself, what are you demanding? Are you demanding atrocities around the world? How many times a day are you putting in that order so that someone experiences war? And if you're not, ask yourself, how many times are you asking animals to go through an atrocity a day? That's where your power is. You can speak up for both and have, influence in both arenas, but you definitely have a lot of power if you stop using animals. Plants are real, but they are not sentient. So we're talking about respecting people's autonomy. Oh, sorry, were you looking at that one?
Someone asked, why is it only this generation?
This generation? Veganism has been an idea for thousands of years. Pythagoras advocated for animal rights, so it's not a new idea. The word vegan was actually coined in the 40s by a group, and it was actually based in ethics. So we just use that word for what it means with the ethics. Before, they didn't really have a word other than vegetarian, but vegetarian has been grown to mean to still exploit animals and just think of it as a diet instead of a rights movement. Yes, babies are sentient. Good job. Stop eating babies.
Which is veil.
That is true.
Yeah.
For human and animal rights, but not baby rights. I did say I'm for babies' rights. Why are you eating babies? All right, we're going to jump down. If you spam, you will get removed. So just know there are mods.
Baby male chicks are ground up on their first day of life because they are seen as not a profit.
Just a waste product. And even backyard chickens, when they have a male, they often don't get big enough. So they either give them away to someone who will take their life and eat them, or they just unalive them with a plastic bag or chop their head off. You look like you know how to grow plants. I mean, I've tried my hand at growing a few plants. I don't really have a lot of space to grow enough plants. Is there a dress code for being vegan? Yeah, you don't use animals.
So no leather, no fur, suede?
Yeah, suede's another type of leather. We basically don't wear others' skins, their hair, their fur, anything taken from their bodies without their consent. Feathers, wool, silk. I don't know, most people don't understand for silk, the worms are cocooned in it and they boil them alive and they unravel the little cocoon that they're in. That's how silk is made.
And minks are electrocuted anally to kill them, and then to kill them, and then they make coats out of them.
Yeah.
And snails are electrocuted also to get their to get their mucus to turn into cosmetics for some reason.
Terrible. Yeah, so there are apps that you can scan products for your cosmetics to see if they were tested on tested on someone and if they are vegan as far as their ingredients go.
They'll have a leaping bunny on them sometimes if they're vegan.
Yeah. And you can always look in Google as well or ask an AI agent if you want.
Yeah.
We're not lecturing, we're asking questions. We're here in beautiful Vancouver, Washington at the Waterfront Park, waiting to have a conversation with somebody. And we're asking you in the audience, if you're not vegan, why aren't you vegan? And we're trying to address those questions. So, if you're not vegan, what's holding you back from living in alignment with your own principles? Shouldn't you... Oh, it went by too fast. I don't know where it
Shouldn't
went.
you be against animal testing? That's what I saw.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We are against animal testing. If it's not necessary to do this, why would we do it, right? And especially because we find all these tests fail when they go to human trials, and we have to do human trials anyway. We have newer technologies that are actually more reliant than animal models, but the oppressors, the people that are breeding these individuals into existence to be tested on, want to keep making money. So they lobby to keep their businesses open. They lobby against those technologies. A lot of times these tests too aren't necessary. They're literally just to check a box. Like, oh yeah, we changed the formula, so we had to test it on somebody, even though we know the result. Yeah, so carnivores out in the wild are just wild animals surviving a harsh environment. They're doing what they have to survive, and they don't have options. We do. You have a grocery store or a farmer's market, and you just move your hand, go down a different aisle. It's really simple for us to go vegan. It's really hard for them to walk to the slaughterhouse. It's really hard for them to lose their babies and their autonomy. I'm gonna grab some water real quick. Are you okay to hold that for a second?
My piercings are vegan, and my piercer is vegan. Fun fact.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
My piercings are vegan too. They're just metal.
Yeah. So a lion would be vegetarian. Lions eat meat because they have to. They don't have the. They're not on the same level as us. They're not on the same level as us. Emotionally, they have to eat meat to survive. They are strict carnivores, and that's what they do for food. They hunt zebras for their food. We have choices.
Yep. What about cheese? What's wrong with cheese?
What's wrong with cheese? Oh, okay. Well, the female cow is artificially inseminated. They put their arm up their anal cavity and to hold the cervix in place, and then they take giant wire and put it up there to artificially inseminate them, and then when the calf is born, they're taken away immediately. So that bond is broken, and they have a very strong bond that whole 9 months of pregnancy. So mother cows are known to run for miles after their babies are torn from them. So it is very sad.
Someone said we have to eat meat.
We do not. We are omnivores. We can thrive on a plant-based diet. Show us your shoes.
I did see that, yeah.
100% vegan.
No.
We are omnivores. Yes, we are.
When did creature begin to eat meat? I don't know. I don't know what that means. They keep saying answer my question.
They are not convers, but convers are vegan.
We're not saying lions should eat other animals. We're saying that that's what they have to do to survive a harsh environment. And you're not a lion.
We are not lions. We do not hunt zebras with our bare hands. We physically cannot.
There's food in the house. There's food in the grocery store.
There's food at grocery outlet. Yeah, my tattoo artist is vegan too. For like 15 years. He's great. He's here in Vancouver. His name's Aloe. Fiery Tattoos on Instagram. Check him out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
I like leather clothes. Is that worth killing somebody so you can wear leather shoes or whatever and look tacky?
Yeah. If I wanted to make a leather suit out of you because I just like the aesthetic, is that moral? No.
What if I've shaved your head so I can put it on my head? Like, I don't think you'd like that very much.
Exactly. Exactly. What is veganism?
It is a moral stance against exploitation against any sentient being.
Yeah. Huh? That didn't make sense. Correct me if I'm wrong, but won't a vegan kill a deer that tries to eat their veggies? Or crop deaths.
Crop deaths?
Yeah. How do
Okay.
you feel about animals dying in the fields for your grains?
I mean, I've seen, what's his name? Empty Cages Vegan. He talked about defending your crops. I mean, you gotta do it. You self-defense. You gotta do what you gotta do
We also don't demand that those animals enter those fields. They do it on their own free volition. And I would say that any individual, human or other animal, enters my fields and I need them gone, I will protect what I need to protect. But as farmers become more vegan, they'll start implementing these values into their practice, and they'll start growing veganically, growing vertically, so we can reduce to zero our crop deaths, right? We don't even need to harm insects or other animals as long as our priorities are focused on making those changes. But right now, there's only 1 to 3% of us, so we have to eat, and it's understandable to defend our crops. So we can, again, improve how we grow crops, but you can't remove the exploitation of using other animals. Even hunting them in the wild is pew-pewing somebody in their home. It's not fair.
Yeah. Also, fences. That's a good idea.
Exactly. There are hair dyes that are vegan.
Manic Panic.
Yep.
There's Good Die Young.
Yes.
Um,
Only 2
Lunar Tides.
Oh.
They're vegan. I believe they're in Washington also, so it's...
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Neat. Okay.
Eero? Yeah, a lot of them are just color depositing conditioners, so there's no need for animal products in them or testing.
Someone's worried about the extinction of domestic animals if we don't use them. Yeah. Yes. So they're artificially, their numbers are artificially pumped up because we literally artificially inseminate them. We force them to overproduce, so they wouldn't naturally produce at these numbers, for one. 2, do you think it's really fair to breed those that we've handicapped now into existence when we know that when they're born, they're going to be dependent on us forever? To me, I feel that's not fair. So if we actually just stop breeding all these individuals and we just started to care for those that are here until they die on their own, then we don't need to worry about the ethics of using them or not, right? Because they don't suffer in non-existence. And there's nothing wrong with that. If it makes you sad to hear of someone going away, it's more like you'll have your wild neighbors that are procreating at their own rates and doing what they want to do as free individuals. And that's the kind of world I want to live in, is where everyone's free, not forced to be someone's friend. Do you want to step in, Elvin?
I'm gonna say
Okay. Legalize dreamfish. Oh, you're just talking about drugs. Okay. We care about human rights. We want human rights to be upheld, just like we want all sentient beings' inherent rights to be upheld. No one deserves to be exploited. No one deserves to be objectified and used like a resource. If you don't want to be treated like that, why would you demand others?
Someone says there is no cancer-causing stuff in meat. That is wrong. Colon cancer is at all-time high, and so is heart disease from all the cholesterol, high blood pressure from too much meat. So that's a very weak argument.
I might do an umbrella, actually.
You all look so unhealthy. Well, we're not. So,
That is actually.
well, you are vegan. We're actually all vegan here.
Oh, that is lovely here.
Somebody says, "Oh my God, septum piercing."
Yes, I know. This is septum theory right now, and it's more
Mhm.
logical than your non-vegan theory. So.
Someone
like
said
them apples.
veganism is a mental disorder. It is actually a stand against animal exploitation or just any sentient being.
Hi, Daniel.
Make sure that you're tapping and sharing. We're here in Vancouver, Washington at the Vancouver Waterfront Park. The sun is really warm, but it does look really nice and the people are out. So we're hoping to catch a few people, have a good conversation, talk about ethics, see if they're living in alignment with their own morals. So
Only one of you is vegan. What does that mean?
only one of us is vegan? Why do you say that?
Oh, I
They're
think.
calling me fat.
What?
That's.
I've seen this all the time.
Oh, okay.
They say I can't be vegan because I'm fat.
That's.
I've definitely heard all that before, so don't even
I'm
try me.
overweight. I'm literally overweight.
Veganism is a stance against exploitation,
In
and
any
it's
body.
consistent with that to oppose body norms which oppress humans as well.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is everyone supposed to be just ripped all the time, just based off of eating, not anything else?
Yeah,
I thought it was a preference of exercising. I want to get really buff.
yeah. Everyone eating meat so they can work at fucking Target or something. Like,
Look at me stretch out the shirt.
yeah, they got no calves though.
All up top.
Yep, all up top.
Somebody says,
All
"Why
in
are
the
you
gut."
ignoring the difficult questions. If you think there's a difficult question that's gone unanswered, paste it again. We're not trying to dodge, but there are 100 people in the room right now, so keep talking about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Keep sharing.
Human equals omnivore. Yes, we are omnivores, which means we can thrive on a plant-based diet also. Look at gorillas, they eat grass. Yep. When did you start being vegan? I've been vegan for 5 years.
Oh, 10 years now.
Congrats.
Yeah. I mean, I was vegetarian before for a really long time, and I'm really ashamed of it. It's like I knew, but I didn't know. But that's all. It's like once you know to do better, you do better.
Yeah, I was vegetarian for like 5 years prior.
Yeah. Like I said, we don't know to do better until we learn better. But once I realized, I'm like, oh, I don't want to support that. I wouldn't want to trade in, spots with any of them.
Somebody says, "Can't wait to talk about yourself." Somebody asked about us, and we responded.
They're obsessed.
Everybody loves to talk about themselves. Yeah.
Does soap have animal fat? What do you use?
Oh, I use what's it called?
Dr. Bronner's?
Yeah, I use Dr. Bronner's.
Yeah.
Yeah, the castor soap. I can't remember what it's called.
They're all their chapsticks are not vegan. They do have beeswax in them, but yeah, very unfortunate. But they have a bunch of vegan chocolates actually, which is really crazy. Yeah, it's weird, but it's sick. They think killing babies is okay. No,
No, in fact, we're telling you that you're killing babies. Stop it.
killing baby male chicks with every egg purchase. You're killing baby male cows with every veal purchase. So you're killing babies.
Yeah, and I do want to add, if you're like avidly pro-life or pro-choice and not vegan, you're the one not living in alignment with your own values. Either someone's sentience is being robbed of them or their autonomy is being violated.
Little Debbie's are not vegan, so I don't know why you think I'm eating those.
They're stupid. They have cholesterol clogging their brains.
Yeah.
They can't think because their arteries are too stiff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wild animals would absolutely end us if they got the choice. Yeah, I don't care what others would do. That I don't let others' actions dictate what I'm going to do, other than self-defense. Right? Just because someone might do something to me doesn't give me the right to exploit them. I'm sure you guys have eaten meat. Yeah, most of us were not born vegan. I don't. Were you?
No.
Oh, I didn't think so. I have met people that were born vegetarian, like they've never consumed animal flesh, but it's very rare for someone to be born vegan. They exist. You can do it. The Nutrition of Dietetics, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, I got it there. They make it clear that you can get everything you need in all stages of life. So You know, think of any nutrient that you might be missing. Go look up vegan next to it. I guarantee there's some way of getting it. Yeah, you can eat a good vegan burger. They're delicious. Even a bean burger would be great. Because the difference is the beans are not a someone, they're a something.
Go to Groshell and get a Beyond Burger pack. They're like $5 for 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I have a real job? Yeah, I'm actually a massage therapist. You should check me out. It's Minx Vegan Massage. Yeah, I just opened up in Northwest Portland. My own little spot.
Congratulations. Yes, if you need a massage, go check out Minx. Beans have feelings. Beings have feelings. Cows, pigs, chickens, fish, geese, goats, etc., turkeys.
Someone said their girlfriend just went vegan. You should follow her.
Yeah.
Should definitely follow in her footsteps. He said she's like unappealing now or something. Or her ego is up the...
You're unappealing because you're very artificial. Superficial, actually, is what I meant to say. Not, well, I mean, you're artificial too, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, chickens also could do well with a massage. There's massage actually for dogs and horses. Why not chickens? They also have muscles.
I have massaged a dog before.
Yeah. That's actually something when I was in massage school that you learn our anatomies are quite similar.
Yeah.
They have a lot of the same muscles, if not all the same muscles.
I believe the same amount of vertebrae for most of animals. Even giraffes. It's just they're fucking huge.
Yeah.
My daughter's gone vegan and drives me mad. You should go vegan too, though. That is a really easy. Just ask her all the questions. Talk to her. I'm sure she has some lovely things to say.
Ask her questions why she is that way instead of judging her, right? You're her father. You should care about her interests.
Do you guys like motorcycles? Yes, my boyfriend actually rides a motorcycle.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Animal rights, women's rights.
They do have vegan toothpaste. I use Tom's.
I use Made by Dentists, I think. Yeah, from Target. Yes, I have a boyfriend. Did you expect girlfriend or something?
Would it matter?
Would it matter?
Yeah, you know what does eating someone's flesh? Liberation from exploitation. That totally wins.
We are not farmers.
Hey, we're doing a social experiment. You ladies want to share your opinion? Oh, I was hoping. Man, nobody. What is going on down there? There's like some event going on down there. There's like a bunch of tubs and dollies unloading barrels of pipes. And I can't even see what all, just boxes on boxes.
This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
So tell me, what's the morally relevant difference between a dog and a cow? Did I just rob that of you? I'm sorry.
No,
okay.
Go for it.
Okay. I
was
instantly thought about the sign.
That's a cool piercing. Thank you.
Yeah. I always admire your jewelry. That's what it's for, too. It's like, I do want people to look at. That's why I'm shiny. I like being shiny.
Yeah.
I'm sharing my shiny.
You are beaming.
Exactly.
Somebody says those are liberals ? So we're here talking about animal ethics. Most of us are anti-capitalist here, so we're not liberals. But today we're talking more specifically about animal liberation for those who have joined more recently and are curious. We're asking the question, is it ethical for us to exploit other animals when we have another choice in 2026? To anybody who's joined more recently, we're here in Vancouver, Washington. Washington State today. Anti-animal use is frequently on the Oregon side, but we're across the river on the waterfront. And we're looking to have some conversations in the chat, as well as with folks who are in person and are comfortable to come on camera. Again, about animal ethics. So leave your justification for exploiting other animals in the chat so that we can all engage with you.
Yay! We'd love to talk to you. We love talking to our community, so.
Well, yeah, we are part of the community.
Yeah, exactly. We need your opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they're coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so confused. I missed like one comment.
Nope. You're all good. You guys were focused on the important stuff.
Somebody says plants are alive too, though.
Come in.
So
I'll just hold this.
okay. When you think about who you'd prefer to put in a gas chamber, is it a cow, a live cow, or a cucumber? What would be who in that situation is going to suffer and gasp for air and scream? I think most folks know that there's a difference between plants and animals.
If there's a burning house, would you run in there for a houseplant or your cat?
Good question, yeah.
Good question.
Somebody says live cow. It's a good position. Yeah, it's preferable to spare the sentient being from suffering and dying than a plant which doesn't care what happens to them. Okay. Somebody says, but cat is not food. Many people eat cats, so for them it is food. They put cats in the category of food, they objectify them, and they eat them. Do you think that's justified? And if not, if you don't think it's justified, what would be the difference, say, between a cat and a fish and a pig? That would make it okay for the fish and the pig, but not the cat. What would the difference be between the animals? Somebody says, the plant does scream in all caps. I know, the screams of broccoli, they're just in my nightmares.
They're ear piercing.
Yeah, would you rather save a puppy or, I don't know, a piece of lettuce? Who matters more? Yeah, they objectify cats. They treat them as objects to be used, and then they use them and kill them. I'm asking, do you think that's fair when they had another option? What do you think? Would you rather... Wait. It moves quick in the chat.
Yeah, I think that's why Anna put this over.
Oh,
Wait.
I see. Because I'm
Little.
bigger, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody who's here, keep double tapping that screen. Keep sharing the live as well. We want a big conversation here in Vancouver, Washington, for those who are curious. Somebody says life ain't never been fair, but should we seek to make it more fair? Should we seek to live in alignment with justice? Should we stand against the unfairness? Or should we participate and contribute to it? What sounds more in alignment with your own principles?
Or anti-animal use.
Big slap of the signs.
Hello to Spooky. Hi, Ian. I see you in there helping us keep the chat somewhat free of bigotry. We don't make space here at anti-animal use. Somebody says, bro didn't take his SSR today? What?
SSR.
Oh, I
It's
don't know
like
what
a
that means.
medication.
Oh, okay. I took some other meds, but thank you. Somebody says, F your pronouns. What?
I
who
didn't
brought
even tell
pronouns
you.
up? You can use any pronouns for me, so I don't mind. Hi, Spooky.
Someone said, hey, Cooper.
You all look so unhealthy. So I didn't know that there was a new way for doctors to diagnose through video. You should really market this as a skill, because I think that you would have quite a business. That was sarcasm for those who have trouble reading.
They do.
Somebody says green pea lives matter. So at this point, are you just attempting to reinforce racism by distracting from the Black Lives Matter movement? Is that what you're trying to do? Because we're not going to make space for it. We oppose racism at the same time that we also oppose injustice towards other animals. For anybody who's here in the chat, keep double tapping that screen, keep sharing the live. I'm going to ask the vegans to put a 1 in that. Vegans put a 1. Curious and open-minded non-vegans put a 2. And trolls and anti-vegans and the rest of y'all put a 3. I want to get a sense of who's in the room. Somebody says, I identify as a plant. So is this your way of being transphobic? I identify as an attack helicopter. We've just heard this. It's very tired. Come up with something new and creative. Somebody says beef. So do you think eating cows is fair when we have another option? What would justify exploiting them, using them, killing them, stealing their one existence from them when we don't need to, when we could eat something else and have our bot live, what would be the justification?
This little bee down here.
How do they
Little
do that?
bee is
They're
eating
getting a
some
drink.
sugar down here. Really cute.
That's so sweet. It is hot here in Vancouver, Washington. For those who are curious, we are on the waterfront. We're in Washington State today. Anti-animal use is frequently in Portland, but today we're in Vancouver. We're asking y'all in the chat, and we're asking folks in person as well, what would justify being violent and exploiting our animal relatives that we share this planet with? What would justify it when that violence and exploitation is needless, when we have an abundance of other options today? Let us know. Are you licensed dietitians? No. We are people standing against injustice, just everyday people.
I know a vegan nutritionist / dietitian. If somebody's interested, DM me on Insta.
Somebody says they eat meat. We're not necessarily talking about what is or what's currently happening, but we're talking about what should be in the future and what's preferable from the perspective of all earthlings on this planet. Do you think it's preferable that we don't consume the flesh and secretions of other animals when we have that option, considering it requires them to be used and killed to produce that product? If we don't need to contribute to it, why would we?
Last time I ate meat was 10 years ago.
For me, it was probably about 6. Somebody says, what about Doritos? So there are some flavors of Doritos which are plant-based. The sweet, spicy chili
yeah,
ones are
sweet
plant-based.
chili.
Yeah.
If
Let's say there just wasn't a Dorito that was plant-based, you should go without and choose a different chip, or not chips at all, because chips aren't a necessity for us to survive. So if we can't find an alternative, why not just go without so that we can live in alignment with our own principle against using other animals?
Takis, those are vegan. A lot of chips are vegan, especially potato chips. You just have to check the back.
Yeah, I'm a potato chip expert, so trust me. I've looked at the bags of all of the chips. My partner likes spicy chips, so I also know those. A lot of them have milk powder, but still, even at everyday Winkos, Walmarts, you'll find alternatives for one. And it's not like we need those products again. We could go without if we needed to. But since we have it and we can indulge and we have an animal-free and animal exploitation-free option, why wouldn't we choose that one? Hot.
We're omnivores. Once again, we can thrive on a plant-based diet. That's what it means. We might be able to digest meat, but it's not morally correct. Fritos, I believe, are vegan. Especially the original ones are. I don't know about the other flavors. Do I wear animal fibers? No, I do not wear any leather, feathers, silk, fur. I don't wear any of that. None of us wear any of that.
Kind of like that. There we go.
I look angry. It's very hot out. So I might look a little grumpy because I'm overheating. What's a good vegan alternative to fried chicken? If you get some vital wheat gluten and just mix it with water and some vegan bouillon, add a little bit chickpea flour and just fry it up in little bits. It's really good alternative to fried chicken.
Curls too. Soy curls are amazing too for a chicken flesh alternative.
Yeah. You can also just make it's called seitan. It's vital wheat gluten and water and some other stuff. You can just roll it in a log and make like a deli meat out of it. Just cook it in the oven.
Somebody says, we do not care. So would you care if dogs were being exploited and used for their flesh? Would you care if a dog was being kicked needlessly? Or worse, used and killed needlessly? If so, on what basis do you care about the dog's exploitation, but neglect caring about the exploitation of other animals like fish, cows, pigs, and chickens? What would the difference be between the dog and these other animals that justifies caring about the dog, but not the other animals? What would justify it? Let me know. Everybody keep double tapping that screen and sharing the live.
Dogs are pets domesticated for thousands of years. Yeah, they also breed and they mass breed dogs and kill them for their flesh. Same with cats in other countries. How do you feel about that? I also know plenty of people with farm animals as pets. There's a lot of sanctuaries where these animals have a good companionship with humans.
Somebody says my dog doesn't taste quite as yummy.
How do you know?
Yeah. If you chopped them up, let's say somebody fed you a piece of a dog and then they fed you a piece of a pig, and you thought that the dog tasted better. Would it then become justified to steal the life from the dog, to exploit them when you didn't need to? If you got more pleasure, would it be justified? You're gonna do this? No? Somebody says, are you guys libs? So I'm anti-capitalist. I can't speak for Minx, but I am. So no, I'm not a liberal. I identify as an anarchist.
Same, but I am very far left also.
Somebody says their dog kicking argument comes up all the time. It's tedious as hell. So what would be the difference between kicking a dog for pleasure and killing an animal for pleasure if both of them were needless? Right? You could kick something else, not the dog. You could also eat something else and not participate.
I'd save both of them and then I'd eat the pig when it's over with.
And is that fair for the pig?
I got sidetracked, sorry.
Yeah, same. That was crazy.
We got
Do we eat tofu? I eat tofu.
Tofu's great. If you make it right, use a lot of sauce, fry it up. I love it. Somebody says, why does the guy look anorexic? So you don't have to worry about me. I'm at a healthy weight right now. I have a good relationship with food. So you shouldn't make assumptions about my relationship with food based on how I look. That's actually kind of discriminatory. Do better.
It's going way too fast.
To anybody who's joined our recently and is curious where we're at, we are on the Vancouver Waterfront. We're here in Washington State today. We're looking to have discussions with the chat as well as with folks in person about the topic of animal ethics. Could it be ethical to exploit other animals, to use them as objects within food, clothing, and entertainment, when we have another option, when we could spare them from being used as objects? What do you think? Somebody says, I'm not vegan because of the Bible. So there's no verse in any Bible that requires you to participate in the exploitation and violence towards our fellow earthlings. So there's no religion that mandates it. So for religious folks, just like non-religious folks, it's a choice. And if we can choose to opt out of a violent and exploitative system towards other animals, why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we choose that option? Let me know, what would be the justification to continue choosing to be violent when you didn't need to? Let's hear it. A lot of folks here. Everybody keep double tapping that screen, keep sharing the live. Is loving my dog, is that exploiting them? So no, if you rescue a dog or a cat or somebody who's already in existence and you love them and you give them a good life, that's not exploitation.
Adopt, don't shop.
Absolutely. Somebody says, who's kicking dogs for fun? Have you not heard of animal abuse? Have you not heard of dog abuse? It happens. And we're asking, if it's not justified for the dog, if it's not justified to kill a dog, why would it be justified to accelerate the violence, to do a deeper type of violence by using and killing another animal when you didn't need to?
Also, dogs have more rights. If you abuse a dog, you're most likely going to get in some trouble. If you break a car open to save a dog in the hot weather, you do not, you're a hero.
To the comments talking about my sexuality or Minx's sexuality, there are heterosexual vegans as well. And when we see you hyper-focused on our identities rather than the substance of our arguments, you're conceding that you don't have anything else. You're scraping the bottom of the barrel, and we see that as a sign of weakness. Says, my guy, listen to your voice, you're not straight. What part did I say I was heterosexual? I don't identify as a heterosexual person. I'm a queer person. Although today we're here more specifically to talk about animal ethics? What would be the justification for using other animals and being violent towards them, contributing to systems of violence against them? We'll have another choice. What do you think? We're not necessarily here to argue, but we're here to strike up a conversation. What would be the justification for needless violence and needless exploitation of our fellow Earthlings? Let us know so that we can begin this conversation. Somebody says, what's worse, killing a baby in the womb? I couldn't quite hear your comment. Maybe paste it again. Somebody says starving. Who? Which one of us? I ate this morning. I eat every day. I'm not somebody who faces food insecurity, and I'm grateful for that, and I have that privilege. I'm not sure why you'd say that about me. Somebody says, what are your pronouns? You can use any pronouns for me. I don't mind. Do not use slurs. Don't attempt to belittle me. That won't be tolerated. Just like I am extending that respect to you.
Someone said they love Whoppers. Yeah, I love Impossible Whoppers without the mayo.
If you can choose the Impossible Whopper without mayo versus the Whopper that causes an animal to be used and killed, why not choose the Impossible Whopper? What would justify purchasing the Animal Whopper? Let us know. What would justify needless violence against other animals? To anybody who's joined more recently, this is Anti-Animal Use. We are on the Vancouver Waterfront today, not Oregon, Washington State today, and we're having discussions in person as well as with the chat about animal ethics. So leave your questions. What are you curious about when it comes to animal ethics or veganism or animal liberation? Strike up a question. It says vegan burgers are 90% chemical, so you can make a vegan burger out of soy, and that's about it if you want.
Beans.
You can make a black bean burger, yeah. What chemical is in a black bean burger? Somebody is using the R slur. Wow. I hope you will be muted. That won't be tolerated here. Somebody says soy is pure estrogen, so it might have phytoestrogen, like it has plant forms of hormones, but it doesn't have the kinds that affect human hormones or human sexuality. Somebody says, do you save animals? Yes, I've rescued a kitty.
I've also rescued a kitty.
Somebody says, how many animals are killed for your beans? So we haven't heard this one recently, and we usually hear it all the time. This is the crop deaths argument. You're saying that vegans are actually responsible for killing more animals by consuming plants. But we have to interrogate this a little further. What do all of the animals that you eat consume? They consume a whole lot more plants than you would if you consumed them directly. So the first step to minimizing crop deaths and crop production overall is to transition to a plant-only food system. As Joseph Poor's study shows, the study is called Reducing Food Environmental Impact Through Producers and Consumers, it demonstrates that we'd reduce total land use on Earth by 75% if everybody adopted a plant-only diet. So if concerned about crop deaths and minimizing them, we can transition to a plant-only food system to address that most. And we can also switch to veganic farming practices to address any remaining insect or rodent deaths that we agree are objectionable. Somebody says, if you aren't pro-life, your veganism stance is stupid. On what basis? Explain more. I see a pro-bodily autonomy argument to be in complete consistency with veganism.
Someone said, what if a cow or dog is attacking you? That is self-defense, and it's right to defend yourself. We do not have to kill and breed animals in mass, so why do it?
Yeah, this is the same if a human came up and attacked you. You would have the right to defend yourself. They said, be honest, man, you don't look too healthy. So I'm a little bit warm. My face might be a little flushed. We're in the sun. It's hot out, if that's what you're talking about. But otherwise, I am healthy. I have my blood checked every year just to soothe my conscience, because I receive a lot of comments from folks like y'all. So just to soothe my conscience, I get my blood tested every year. And each time the past 5 years, everything's been in within perfect levels. It's been within the recommended range. Protein, calcium, any of the nutrients that are typically brought up as challenging for plant-based eaters to get. And I don't do anything special. I just take a multivitamin and I eat what I like to eat. I don't do anything special. Somebody says I'm going to make some soup. Yeah, it's so easy to cook up plant-based soups. It's like honestly one of my favorites.
Put an iron leaf in it to get some iron in there, since you all are so worried about iron.
Let's see. I'm seeing some trollish comments. I want to challenge the chat. To the non-vegans who are more open-minded, I want to ask you to please leave your justification for exploiting other animals in the chat so that we can open up this dialogue. Yep, I'm seeing some ad hominem. Somebody said absolute moron. So when you confess to us that you don't have any substantive arguments, I don't know what else to do beyond move on. Our age isn't relevant. Somebody's trying to get at our age. We're not going to tell you how old we are. It's not relevant conversation. We're talking about animal ethics. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on veganism? What's your understanding of it? Let's talk about it. Everybody keep double tapping that screen. Share the live as well. Somebody says they are yummy. Again, it's the pleasure argument. Do you think that getting sensory pleasure from the violence that you participate in, does it justify that violence? Is exploiting an animal using their body justified because you got pleasure from that process? If you had another option, what would justify that? Somebody says, I love leather knife, so why not a different type of knife that doesn't involve the skin of somebody else? Oh, now we have somebody diagnosing personality disorders over our stream. Very talented. We have some amazing healthcare professionals in here, Minx. It's like so impressive. It's none of your business what other people eat. So we're not necessarily talking about what people eat. We're talking about who is being eaten, who is exploited when we choose to participate in these systems that violate the bodies of other animals. If we have another choice, why would we consume the flesh of other animals? Do you eat candy with gelatin? No, I'm not a big candy person. It's honestly, as I've become older, it just isn't as interesting to me as it was when I was younger. That being said, if I do, I obviously purchase a gelatin-free and a cow's milk-free option.
Jelly Belly made some gummies that are vegan, and then Sour Patches are vegan.
Yeah, and somebody says, what about the animal's choice? That's everything. That's a very important point. To the person who is saying, you know, you're trying to take away our freedom of choice. What about the animal's choice? Somebody in the chat just made that point, and it's very profound. What about their perspective? Are you forgetting about it? Are you invisibilizing it? Are you forgetting it? Let's see, going in could be a big mistake. Is that what it said? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Leave another comment.
Someone said, do you guys have animals? Yes, I have a cat.
Yeah, there's a kitty at my house that I take care of.
Yeah. They're probably going to ask if they're vegan. Yes, my cat is vegan.
Somebody says pet ownership is worse than eating animals. So I would imagine that Minx, much like myself, doesn't relate to their cat as something to be owned, but as someone to take care of. So we do oppose pet ownership, but I think that most animals who are dogs and cats are living substantively better lives than those who are being chopped up, if that makes sense. Even if there's still ground that we need to cover in terms of treating dogs and cats as persons and individuals with desires of their own. To everybody who's here, we're in Vancouver, Washington, almost 200 people here. It's a very big live today. It's great to have everybody here. Keep double tapping that screen. Keep sharing it. For anybody curious and who's joined recently, we're here in Vancouver, Washington, on the waterfront. And we're here to start up a conversation with you about animal liberation. What do you think it is? Do you support it? What are your thoughts? Somebody says Portlandia. That's in the background. That's across the river. We're here in Vancouver, Washington State today. Somebody says queers. Oh my gosh. They got us.
They got us.
They got us good.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody says cats need taurine. Yes, the food I feed my cats is plant only and it has taurine.
Look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Are y'all going to Eugene's Vegan Fest? That's a bit of a drive for us. I don't imagine that we'll be doing that. I mean, I will. I'm talking about my partner and I. I'm not sure what Minx's plans are.
I think it's on the 3rd, which I am doing a protest that day, so I will not be going.
Somebody says nature is the key difference. So just because something is natural, does that make it ethical? When you think about, for instance, a big cat who eats their baby, can we call that ethical? Could we mimic that action and call it ethical as humans? If a human mother chose to use her baby to kill them when she didn't need to, would that be ethical? If not, then we can't just base our ethics simply on what happens in nature. We have to be critical and ask, is this good in terms of exploitation and suffering and rights violations and liberation?
Yes, I have a job. I'm a massage therapist.
Let's see. Big cats do not eat their babies. Look it up. It's called infanticide. Some of them do, and it happens naturally. Is it fair because it's natural? That's the question I'm asking. If not, is it possible that eating animals is both natural and immoral? That's the point I'm getting at. Do you understand? If not, leave another message and we'll continue this discussion. Double tap that screen, everybody. Keep double tapping. Somebody says natural again. Again, expand your argument. I just responded to this one. I'm going to ask the vegans to put a 1. Vegans put a 1 in the chat. Non-vegans who are open-minded put a 2. And trolls put a 3. Somebody says it's not immoral, so make an argument to that effect. Let's hear it. Daniel, hi vegans. We've got a good variation going here. Hi Utops. Great to have the vegans and the moms here. It's so important to keep this chat free of bigotry. We're not really here to tolerate any of that nonsense. Somebody says humans are part of nature. That's true. And what's your point? Just because it's natural for humans to commit acts of violence, does that mean it's justified for you and I to do that? What do you think? Someone says you can't call yourself vegan if you own pets. Perhaps you're talking about this mindset difference that I was, where I talk about myself as a guardian for my kitty that I care for rather than an owner. Is that what you mean? If so, I know what you mean, and I think I agree. Somebody says, listen, eating meat is healthy and good for you. We need it to live. So this is an empirical claim. I want you to provide evidence. What's the study that demonstrates that the human body needs animal flesh or animal secretions in order to survive and thrive? If you can provide that study, we'd be interested to hear it. Because the world's nutrition organizations are standing against that claim. They're saying that plant-only diets are healthful for every stage of life, including infancy, pregnancy, bodybuilding, athletics, every stage. How's that?
Look up the vegan bodybuilder on Instagram. He's very cool. I heard you say bodybuilder, so I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. He said, why is he gay? Because I want to be. To those who are like, you're born gay, and like that's their central core argument. I'm asking, what would be such a bad choice to choose to be queer? It's how I want to live my life, and I do it, and I'm free. Let's see. Somebody says, because they taste good and they don't have souls. So again, we've heard this a lot. Does pleasure justify violence and exploitation? Let's hear your thoughts. Would pleasure be a good enough reason to chop a dog up when you didn't need to? If it's not good enough for the dog, why would it be good enough for the pig or the fish or the cow? What would be the difference between the animals that justifies treating them so vastly different? Let's have this conversation. Keep tapping that screen, everybody. We're not necessarily here to argue, but just engage critically with these comments that you're making. We're asking folks in person who are comfortable enough to come on camera, as well as y'all in the chat, this topic about animal liberation. Should we liberate other animals alongside human liberation movements? Stop spamming the chat. You'll be muted. Somebody says, don't kill our friends, go vegan. Thank you for your support. It's great to have vegans here. Somebody says cats are obligate carnivores. Keeping them on a vegan diet is animal abuse by definition. So you have a few misconceptions here. Veganism isn't a diet. My cat isn't a vegan. They don't have a philosophical position on whether it's acceptable to exploit others. But they can be fed a plant-only diet that's properly formulated and includes every nutrient that their body needs to thrive. Why would I choose to incessantly have animals be killed to sustain one cat, when instead I could choose to have them thrive on plants? Let's see. Hi, Daniel. It's great to have you here. Animals are not people, he said. Well, why not? What's different between me and a pig that means I can be a person, but the pig cannot? Let's hear it. What defines personhood then? Seems like you might have an ableist construct of what a person is. Your body needs meat. Provide the evidence. Put the study in the chat. We do want to hear the evidence if you have it, but these are empirical claims that require scientific evidence to back them up. So until you provide that evidence, until you show that study in the chat, we are going to continue. We're going to dismiss that claim.
My cat is an indoor cat. She does not hunt. If she was an outdoor cat, I don't think I wouldn't take her away from killing an animal to eat. I don't personally have a problem with that. That is the circle of life. What we are doing is not the circle of life. We are breeding animals into existence for our pleasure, for our entertainment, for clothing, and that is morally unjustified.
Keeping a cat inside is abusive. What about all the birds that are hunted and killed and driven to extinction levels when we use cats as outdoor animals and they get run over by cars and whatnot? Would you accept this for young children? Just let them wander outside? What would be the difference between a cat and a young child in their cognition that would justify not letting the young child just wander, potentially get hit by a car, maybe be violent towards birds, but not have that same standard for a cat? Animals eat other animals, so while a bear might eat other animals to survive, we live in Vancouver, in Portland. We live in areas where grocery stores and farmers markets and plant seeds exist. So we can choose to not participate in this system of exploitation and violence towards other animals. And if we can, why wouldn't we? Why would we choose to use animals to objectify them for their flesh or their secretions or entertainment or clothing when we don't need to? Let's hear it. Everybody keep double tapping that screen. Somebody says claws. So I can make a fist. Does that justify punching somebody just because I have the anatomy to commit some violence? Yeah, please.
Awesome.
It's been a while.
Could someone put just on the little flap? Elvin will show. Hey guys, how's up? Oh, here, I can hold this. You've been holding that a long time.
Oh, right.
Thank you. How's everyone doing? It's good to see y'all. Okay, so we're not talking about futility, right? We're talking about when you do have options, when you can either go without or there's an alternative. Do you think it's ever fair to exploit others? So since I wasn't in here earlier, I'm going to do a quick check. If you're a vegan, press 1. If you're not a vegan, put a 2 in the chat. Let's just kind of see where we're at as far as a spread. Being vegan is unhealthy is what I saw. So while we're waiting for the numbers, okay, we've got a good spread here. So as far as veganism and its diet side, veganism is a movement. It's an ethical stance against the exploitation of others. So I look for foods that don't demand somebody lose everything for me, because I can get everything without demanding someone's exploitation, right? So when I have an option or I can go without, that's what I do. Self-righteous. So those that I saw put a 2 in the chat. Please tell me, why are you not vegan? What's holding you back? Is there some question that I can answer? Yeah, so if you have copulations with another animal, that is grape. You cannot get consent from them. So you are using someone's body for your sensory pleasures. So same thing when you use their body for, consuming or to wear their hair, right? You're still doing the same thing. You're saying, I'm going to use your body regardless of what you want and whether or not it's in your best interest, because it benefits me and it brings me some benefit. It's the same thing. And if you think that's wrong, you can change your habits. You can opt out of supporting that. I don't know who that is. the vegans in your group are going to hell. Well, that's fine. That has nothing to do with veganism. We're here because we're speaking up for the vulnerable, those that are being used and not listened to. They scream for you to stop and you just ignore them, put them behind cement walls so you can't hear or see what's going on. A lot of people say that because they're not the ones getting blood on their clothes, they're not the ones separating the families, they're not the ones raping other animals to make more animals, that it's okay that they support it. Is it? If you saw human baby flesh on the fridge or in the fridges at the stores, would you think the person purchasing that is a good person doing something moral, or would you agree that they're oppressing people? They're saying a human baby that is born and here and sentient is nothing more than a resource to be used. I do support women's reproductive rights. I think that everybody has autonomy to their own body. Hunting isn't fair because those individuals are just living in their home and you entered their home and pewed them. There's no moral reason to do that to anybody other than self-defense, maybe. You know, I could see extreme necessity. But for the most of us, we have a grocery store, we have farmers markets, we have options. And when you have an option or you can go without, don't you think that's what you should do? What if you were the victim? An abortion is just a medical procedure between someone and their doctor. Yeah, it is have a good vegan community, everyone being uplifting. Hey, we're doing a social experiment. You want to participate? All right. They're actually setting up for a race, a walkathon, I think, for the Humane Society over here at the Vancouver Waterfront Park. So, you know, this is actually good timing to start asking people, wow, that's a lot of kids. Do you see the train? Hey, doing a social experiment? Okay. Look at all those people over there. Man, big old train of them just walked on over. Yeah, so I hear you that hunting, you understand it to be a population control. I've had some people try to tell me it's out of compassion. But wouldn't you agree, if it's out of compassion, that if we had a way to protect us and them and the things that are being damaged without taking their lives, don't you think that's what we should do? If we stop using animals, if we stop enslaving them for our benefits, we actually don't need to grow as many plants. We could rewild land the equivalents of North America and South America combined. And then we don't have to worry about populations because they'll have room to breathe. So what morally justifies in your mind using animals without their consent? Actually, you'd be surprised that the fastest growing community in the vegan sphere are African Americans. Actually, not even that, they're black people. Just black people in general are the largest growing population in the vegan movement. Yeah, so if you find that being born without your consent was immoral, why would you demand that others be born into existence? Do you think that it's moral to bring someone into existence to be your slave just so that they have the experience of life? Or is it, more moral, or is it ever immoral to not breed someone into existence knowing that they would forever be dependent on you? Which one is more moral? Breeding someone into existence for your use knowing that they will be dependent on you, or not breeding someone into existence knowing that they will be dependent on you? Which one's more moral? Which one's immoral? No, it doesn't matter the species. They all care about what happens to themselves. Please make sure that you're tapping, liking, sharing. We're here in Vancouver, Washington at the Vancouver Waterfront Park. We're standing next to, I guess, where the Humane Society is going to do a run for, I don't know what, probably the animals. And I hope we catch some people to talk about their ethics. I'm pretty glad I was bred into existence. So are you saying that we should breed human slaves into existence because at least they get to experience life? Why is it immoral for humans to eat, let's say deer meat, but it's not immoral for a predator animal to eat and eat that same deer. So an animal that's in the wild that attacks a deer that's in their home, the predator, in their home, they're surviving a harsh environment. If you go out there, you're putting yourself in someone else's environment to take their life, right? You don't need to do that. You have options. You have grocery stores, you have farmers markets. You know, you can move your hand. You can go down a different aisle. They don't have an option. And so I say that we focus on our own choices, and then we talk to those around us that we can. I'm not falsely equivocating anything. I'm saying that sentient beings care about what happens to themselves. I, as a sentient being, do not want to be enslaved. I don't want to be exploited or used without my consent. Why would it be different for anybody else? Please tell me about all of the vegan processed alternatives I can eat to be healthy, like you guys, like all the healthy Doritos. Well, most Doritos have some kind of cheese on them. I guess there might be some vegan ones. I don't eat Doritos. You can eat whatever you want as a vegan, because veganism isn't a diet. It's an ethical stance against exploitation of sentient beings. So if you wanted to be healthy and vegan, you can do that. You can eat a whole food plant-based diet if you wanted to. You can do that research. If you wanted to not care, you can do that too. Just leave sentient beings out of it. That's it. It's really simple. It's a very basic principle. If I don't need to use someone, why would I do that? And by use, I mean exploit, because of course we can help each other. That's okay. But to exploit someone for your benefit without their consent, when it's not in their best interest, that's not fair. I want to be honest and start by saying I eat meat when given to me, choose not to buy it. I agree with the opinion on sentience. I think it's messed up to stand behind industrial farming. Oh, I can't see the other one. I don't know where 202 is. I didn't see the other half of that comment, but oh, there it is. It is also effed up to romanticize farming at all. Yeah, I agree. Farming is just enslaving other animals. Well, animal farming is enslaving other animals. Would you be willing to grab the phone in that flap on the back side of the bench? Just that main flap right there. Just flip it up. Yes. Thank you. Let's see if I can get a picture of Rebecca.
I don't believe you. Where is your work about how you
Awesome. Could you put that back? Appreciate you. I like taking pictures of us when we're talking to people. It lets us reflect back on our conversations. So again, we're in Vancouver, Washington at the Vancouver Waterfront Park, and we're just talking to people about their morals. Rebecca's having an off-camera conversation. We have actually had a lot of off-camera conversations, but you know what? That's okay. It's good to have conversations. That's really the main goal. I really want them to be on camera so that everyone else can hear their questions being answered, because I know there's a lot of people that come here out of curiosity and they just want to hear their position defended. And yeah, that's why we're here. We're trying to open up the floor to everybody so that we can have an honest conversation about ethics and what we should do. Like, how do you think we should interact with each other? Why would you want to harm as many individuals as possible? Why would you want to live in that world? Yeah, so you can eat a whole food plant-based diet. You can eat beans, rice, tofu, tempeh, seitan, vegetables, fruits, frozen fruits and vegetables, canned fruits and vegetables. There's a lot of things you can put together. There are literally just hundreds of plants you could eat. So, and honestly, people have gotten so creative. There's pea proteins. I can't even think of all the different ones that they have now. But like I said, you don't need to eat anything that's been mixed around. You can eat a whole food plant-based diet. That's still an option. But it's so funny because the people that usually bring up that there's a lot of junk food are the ones that eat junk food. Like, they typically don't care about their own health anyway. So, or they smoke or something like that. And it's like, well, I mean, you do you, just leave sentient beings out of it is all we're saying. but you can be healthy on a plant-based diet if you really want to. Yeah, if you think that eating healthy is boring, most people do, that's fine. You can eat vegan junk foods. You can make your own junk foods that are cheap. Yeah, bugs are still sentient. We don't have as much science on them, so we don't talk about them as much, but I would prefer a world where we didn't exploit other bugs. I try to, in my choices, avoid demanding bug exploitation. I don't buy silk. I don't buy honey. I try to avoid anything that's usually made from them. I look into dyes sometimes. But the important thing is to not feel overwhelmed as a vegan. It's okay to say, I don't want to violate others. It's okay to feel like, oh, maybe I need to make a lot of changes, but I just suggest you do one change, not one change at a time, but you approach each change as they come up to you, just as they come up. So don't think about everything, just think of them as they arrive to you. You're going to your next meal, you have an opportunity to eat plant-based, or you can eat beforehand. What do you think is more fair for the victim? Do you think that you should go out to a dinner and consume someone else's body out of convenience and pleasure? Or should you do the right thing? Go to a place that offers plant-based options, or make your own. Even if plants had feelings, you would still go vegan. It sounds counterintuitive, but we feed more of those plants to the animals. So if we care about plant welfare, we would still live vegan. Pineapples are sweet. Exactly. Veganism is explicitly about not exploiting others. We care that someone cares about themselves. So if plants were sentient, you would still eat them, but you're going to eat the animals because the animals are sentient. Yes, because I would cause less harm to plants. It would go into a utilitarian thing a little bit because I have to live. I prefer to live. And if we could invent some way to produce food without sentience, that would be great. And we currently have it. It's called plants, fungi, and seaweed. So lucky us. Yeah, if you're worried about cotton, there's also hemp, there's synthetics, there's other plant fibers that are being utilized now, cactus and
Bamboo.
Bamboo is another example, actually, highly regenerative for sure. It grows fast and it's strong. Yeah. He's more interesting. I do agree. Cooper is more fun. Strictly sunlight diet. Yeah, no, we're not asking anybody to harm themselves. We're saying, think about it. What do you think you need from other animals? I would type that into Google, say, I need this, and put vegan resource or vegan source to that. And you'll find a source for it, I promise. It'll tell you either some whole food or maybe it's a supplement. But what matters more? You taking a supplement or, you having that body piece versus someone losing everything. What's more important?
I'm volunteering.
So there's actually evidence that plants are not sentient. There's a consensus in science. They don't have a brain or a central nervous system. So they don't, and there's no evolutionary benefit for them to be sentient and feel. Notice they don't move when they're being attacked. So those with a brain and a central nervous system tend to be sentient. They care about what happens to themselves. They're having their own subjective experience of life. I just feel like you're jumping through hoops. I'm not against eating plants. I do think people should eat less red meat, and overall we should treat all animals with the same level of kindness we want. Exactly. Do you think that includes making them have babies, taking those babies away from them, taking their life from them, right? Treating them like a machine to give us things, even in a small amount. Is that ever fair to do to a human? And if not, why would it be fair to do to other animals? Especially those that can't consent to their treatment. So that's all we're saying, is that it's all about consent. Imagine I hope this never happens to anybody, but imagine you lost your sapience. You fall or something terrible happens and you're not able to think about thoughts, but you still care about yourself, still care about feeling comfortable and having the next positive experience. Do you think then that others that have more capabilities have the moral right to use you for their benefit? And if not, that's all we're saying, is that I agree. No one should do that to anybody. Especially if you don't want it done to yourself, you should, reflect that same respect to others.
Well, let me ask one question.
I don't like it too, but only small thinking leads to that behavior. I don't know, maybe I missed that reference. Make sure that you're tapping the screen, and if you can, please share this. We're trying to get as many people in here as possible. We're in Vancouver, Washington at the Vancouver Waterfront Park. Hell yes! You want to do it? Are you sure? Nah, you're good. Okay, all right. Oh, I'm gonna keep this on me actually, because I'm gonna die of heat. Are you okay to stand there?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have you step right here in this square here.
Square.
That one. The other one is up to you. This one we're a little closer. Sorry, I'll hold
you're
that fire. So my name's the camera got turned.
What is this YouTube channel called?
It's called Anti-Animal Use. Anti-animal use.
Okay.
Yeah. My name's Anna. What's yours?
Samuel.
Samuel. It's lovely to meet you. What's yours?
Oh, it's Ruslan.
Ruslan?
Yeah.
Lovely to meet you both. So what brings you out here actually to the park?
Well, actually, I don't live here. I live in Ohio. So
Nice. Okay.
just visiting.
Yeah. So you're just out here enjoying the sun, going for a walk?
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love it. What do you think about the dynamic between the powerful people are, someone who has some advantage versus others that don't have that same advantage? Do you think those that are powerful in that situation have the right to misuse those that don't have that same opportunity?
I feel like in America, everybody has an equal right to power and to opportunity.
Yeah.
That's what's so great about America. America's the only country that people will hate but won't leave. So everybody has an equal opportunity. My parents are immigrants. They came here legally through the Statue of Liberty type beat. They became citizens back in, I think, 07. But a lot of people would say, yes, thank you. I was born here, thank God. But everybody.
So what I'm actually trying to get at is
Yeah.
there's a power dynamic that just naturally happens sometimes, like a parent to a child, right? You would
Okay.
agree that a parent has power over a child.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah. So with that power comes responsibility, right? If I could steal the Spider-Man quote.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that a parent that is powerful has the right to oppress their child or to mistreat their child?
It depends, I would say. I wouldn't, if it's against their will, then no. And if it's morally wrong or right.
Yeah. So by mistreat, I mean to do something to them unfairly. Do you think that someone who has power should be able to do that to someone who doesn't have power?
It just depends. If it's for the greater good, as in hey, you shouldn't drink, or you shouldn't go out partying, or you shouldn't risk your life for this one, like discipline, just like my friend is mentioning, then I think that's a wise choice that the parent is making because of how much older the parent is.
So I'm gonna repeat oppress.
Yeah.
Because power, yes, they have power. Oppression literally means to use someone or to prolong cruel treatment. Another word would be exploitation. So we're using someone unfairly for our benefit. That's by definition. So by unfairly, do you think that a parent should be unfair to their child?
In that sense, no.
I agree. All right, we share that common ground. What about when it comes to animals? Do you think that it's fair for us to use them without their consent?
I think my belief is going to be different than a lot of other people's.
Yeah, what's your
just
belief?
because I believe that people are made in God's image, like us as humans, and that's why us as humans, we don't share the same dynamic as an animal would. In the animal kingdom, they share the same dynamic of survival of the fittest. But us as humans, we share the dynamic of caring for the poor and caring for the weak. Animals don't have that because we are morally different than animals are. So in that sense, I would say I can't compare humans, us as valuable people, as something to animals.
Do you think that they care about what happens to themselves?
Animals or humans?
Yeah, animals. Well, both, but animals.
I would say that animals might have emotions like a dog, or they
Yeah.
definitely do have emotions. But I think God made certain animals for certain things. I don't think that, I used to live on a farm and we used to have cows, and I am more than okay with raising a cow and eventually just killing it for the meat, because we actually used almost all of the cow for our benefit because we raised it. And that's
Can
what
I
it's meant
join
for.
your religion
Uh-huh.
and not use animals?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Right. So it's not a requirement.
No.
Yeah. So I guess since we know animals care about what happens to themselves, we know that we don't need to use them. What then morally justifies using them without their consent?
I wouldn't necessarily believe that animals are really aware what happens to them.
If a human wasn't aware of their surroundings, would we say that it's moral to exploit them?
I wouldn't compare a human and an animal to each other because they're kind of different in a sense.
Can you articulate what that morally relevant difference is that justifies the difference in treatment?
Yeah, so initially humans are made in God's image and they actually have value and moral code.
I'm not really understanding why that's a justification.
Because I me personally and you, I wouldn't compare us as, like, let's say, to a pig, right?
But you're not justifying why it's okay to take the life away from a pig who wants to live when you don't have to.
How would you know a pig wants to live? How about
They're
that?
sentient. So we have evidence that the only way we can tell that a nonverbal human is sentient is by watching their behaviors.
Yeah.
So we do the same thing for other animals because we're animals. We're apes. So we just watch their behaviors, and we've done this many, many times. There's thousands of studies that have been peer reviewed that point to the animals with a brain and a spinal cord. They are most likely sentient. So the cows, the pigs, the chickens, even the fish, the bees, they're all sentient, which means we know they care what happens to themselves. They avoid harm, and they prefer to feel comfortable.
Okay.
So with that in mind, does that change your mind at all? Because that's a lot of information.
Not really, because I don't believe that animals and human beings share the same moral code.
Yeah, they don't need to, right? Because they're just vulnerable to us. It's okay they don't have the same priorities.
Yeah.
Because other humans, we don't have this. You and I don't have the same priorities.
Yeah.
So just because we have these differences, what really matters is what's similar. We care about what happens to ourselves. Why would it be wrong, let's say, for someone to use you? Besides that your species is human, what is it about being human that makes you unique to not, or to have that inherent right to not be exploited? What's unique about you?
What I would say is unique about me is that I am made in God's image, and the
But
only
they still
thing
care, like regardless of their body shape, right?
Oh, that is fine. I don't care about, like, the shape. I'm more personally, in the Bible it talks about how in Genesis, whenever God created creatures and then he created humans, that he breathed the breath of life only into humans. Yeah.
He didn't actually. I urge you to reread that bit. The word that
I can pull it up right now.
Yeah, if you could. From what I've been told, the word that he uses, the word that describes the breath going into humans, is the same as other animals. But I would want to push back, even if, let's say you were right, that, we know that animals care what happens to themselves. You don't need to use animals in your religion. So if they care about what happens to themselves and you don't need anything from them, you don't need them for your religion, what justifies stealing their life when you know they wanted to live?
I wouldn't say I am stealing an animal's life, because I feel like their purpose would be to serve me. And
did they come up with that purpose, or did we force that purpose onto them?
That's kind of what they were initially created for, I would say.
Yeah, we forced that onto them.
I would agree to disagree.
What's the Garden of Eden? Was it the most perfect creation?
Yes. God's intent.
Did they use each other in the Garden of Eden? They
not
didn't.
necessarily, yeah.
It's actually known as being the safe haven for everyone. No one ate each other. No one used each other. It wasn't until sin entered the world that now we live in this harsh environment. And you were given some permissions to survive that harsh environment, much like the animals that live in the wild today, right? So wouldn't you think that in the face of sin, in the face of pleasure, that this would be a test by your God, saying that instead of focusing on your pleasure, you should focus on what's right, that someone innocent doesn't want to die, and you have the power to not demand that they die?
I feel like, in general, there's a confusion of what animals are and what humans are, because I wouldn't count them as the same level, right?
I'm not saying they're the same level. I'm just saying that morally speaking, we care about what happens to ourselves the same.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if you value a dog over a pig. It's more like, do they value their life more than you value your taste pleasure?
Can you read?
Do you think they would want to die knowing that they're just going to be used for you to have sensory pleasure?
I'm not sure. I just think that's the service. Okay, for example, what is the purpose of a pig if, let's say, everybody does stop eating animals? What is the purpose of that
Their
animal?
own purpose, what's your purpose?
My purpose is to fulfill God's word.
Okay, well, that's for you. Do I need to do your purpose?
No.
Are you going to force your purpose onto me because it's convenient for you?
No.
Exactly. It's your purpose. Can I force my purpose onto you?
No.
Exactly. So why would
But-
it be any different for them?
Because that's their intended purpose, I would say.
So it's out of like personal choice. I don't understand what's the moral justification for slitting their throat when you don't need to. Like, let me give you an example. Maybe you'll understand with this. And it's a little grotesque.
Yeah, go ahead.
What if I had a dog here, and for me it's a tradition, and I get a lot of exercise and enjoyment out of kicking this dog for fun? Do you think it's moral for me to do that?
Well, obviously, that's to that extreme. It's morally wrong to kick
Why?
a dog.
I'm getting exercise and it's a tradition.
Obviously, because dogs don't deserve to be hurt. Which, in a sense, I understand that kind of sounds similar to the point that you're
It is.
making. But
It's the exact point I'm
it's-
making.
the dog's purpose isn't to be eaten, though.
What if I bred them for that purpose? Now they have that purpose.
Well, I guess that's something that you decided to do, and you
Yeah.
can do that.
Do you think it's moral though?
Me personally, I wouldn't do that, and I wouldn't.
I agree.
Yeah.
Why would you not do that?
Because I don't think dogs should be eaten. No,
Do you think they should be kicked for fun?
obviously not.
What if we went through this, I bred them for
Mm,
this.
Yeah.
So why shouldn't I kick this dog? Tell me.
Because I don't think that they taste good. No, I'm just playing.
I'm not eating them.
You're not. You're just kicking them.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's cruel in general towards
Why?
that animal. Just because it doesn't deserve to be kicked.
Are they experiencing something?
The dog, or the person?
The dog.
Yeah, of course they're experiencing something. yeah.
Exactly. Well, I think we're going to leave it here. I think you understand what I'm saying, that someone who's feeling deserves to be morally considered. So if you're willing.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. In general, right, I would love to have like a similar standard with like animals, right? Because you have, by law, if you kill a bald eagle egg, what's it called? If you kill, it's a felony in the U.S. if you kill a bald eagle's egg. But yet, I love animals so much, but some animals serve a purpose of getting eaten, and some serve a different purpose, right?
Can
And
you think
another
back
thing-
to a time when we did that to other humans? We gave them a purpose and said that's their purpose.
Yeah. And yeah. Give me a second. And one thing that I want to say is that every human also has a purpose, and I don't think that another person is supposed to be allowed to decide what a human baby in a womb gets to survive or not.
So abortion is a medical procedure between someone who's pregnant and their doctor. It's not about exploitation. Exploitation is using someone unfairly for your benefit.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
having sex before marriage and getting an
Do you have a
abortion,
uterus?
it doesn't matter.
It does, because you're talking about obstacles that you'll never have to deal with, and I think that that's unfair for you to speak about that. You're tokenizing people with uteruses to promote your theory, and I don't think that's fair. You're tokenizing people.
Can I say that you're tokenizing people that love eating meat?
How am I tokenizing you?
Because it's unfair to other people.
Do you know what tokenizing means?
I don't.
I'm using you as a shield.
Uh-huh.
How am I using you as a shield?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna give you a card if you could. Would
right.
you be willing to watch a documentary? I don't know if you'd be strong enough for it.
If I have the time for it, I will.
It's a 3-minute documentary.
Yeah.
If you scan that and you click on see what I find, ask yourself, if I don't need this, why am I supporting it? And that's literally, those are just standard legal practices.
Okay.
All right, well, I appreciate you.
Well, can I say one more thing? Real
I
quick?
think we're done because
It's
I'm
just-
done hearing about rhetoric about abortions. I understand that it offends you.
I won't talk about abortion. It's just a message of love. Just
What
real
is it?
general.
No.
You can take the mic
I
away.
think
if you
we're
don't
done. I feel very sus of your actions. You have a good day. Please think about your actions and how they affect others. It's really fair should you keep doing it.
All right, I will.
I appreciate you.
Make a comment on the side, like you don't have to be on the
Sure. What?
So when you said about
Do you want to try being on camera?
no, this is just
Okay,
between-
okay.
It was it got off topic and it was about abortion.
Are you, if I bring the mic in?
No.
Okay.
When it was mentioning about self.
I have to be live though, so like if it's a long one.
I'm trying to be quick.
Okay.
About self gain or self pleasure or like self.
Sensory pleasures.
So you know how like you mentioned like when people eat certain foods for self-benefiting.
Yeah.
It could also come down to the part where like
Could you take the microphone?
Yeah, we have some other folks ready for an interview.
Yes. Okay. Could you answer his question, or do you want to be on the interview?
I'll do an interview.
Okay. Awesome. I will talk to you after.
All right. We're talking about animals. Yeah, we're doing interviews with the people. All right. I'm Cooper. What's your name?
Hi, Cooper. My name is Alex.
Alex, nice to meet you.
Yup.
Looks like we're in frame here. I'll ask the first question. How do you feel about animals?
What type of animals?
Let's think of dogs or cats, like companion animals at home.
Dogs or cats? I mean, I like cats. Dogs, they smell too much, so.
Oh, you might need a bath?
Yeah, I just like cats because I don't have to really have to take care of them. I just give them food and stuff, you know?
Would you say that when you take care of cats, what do you learn about their personality?
Cats' personalities? I mean, no matter which ones, because there's fat cats and there's active cats. Like I had a cat that was outside all the time, and then my friends have cats that they just eat a lot and they just sleep a lot. So
Yeah, they're all kind of individuals, would you say?
are they all individuals?
Yeah, like they're individual traits. Like one cat's different from another cat.
I mean, they're all born different. It's like they all
Right.
have different colors and different eyes. So
Right. But do you think they also act differently? Like, for instance, my kitty at home, like they like some humans and they might not like others.
they act differently. Yeah.
Do you think there's a difference between, say, like a cat and a fish or a pig in their ability to have feelings and suffer?
I don't really know if animals have feelings, you know?
Well, you thought the cat does, right?
I mean, I don't know if it has feelings. I'm just saying that, like...
Do you think like they feel pain or that they suffer or that they feel things like happiness and sadness?
Yeah, my cat was suffering for like 5 months or 6 months because he had a lung disease and he had blood in his lungs.
Oh, man.
So then we didn't want to put him out, so he just suffered until he died. Yeah, it was very sad, you know? I really miss my cat, so rest in peace, Vasa.
That sounds like a story. I'm sorry to hear
His name was Vasily, and he died, so...
Do you think there's a difference between a fish and a cat, or say a pig and a cat? Do you think they both have feelings?
Yeah, they're always different, you know, because like one swims and then one is like super dirty, and like we shouldn't eat him because he eats like a bunch of dirty stuff, so it's better to eat healthier animals, you know. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything that humans need from other animals in 2026, or do you think we have alternatives? What do you think? Like for food or clothing, do you think we have alternatives today?
I mean, if you just like study health and you go to college for health and stuff, then you'll like show you that you need proteins and the stuff.
You need protein. Do you think you could get it from plants?
No, you can't. If you
What
look
makes
at if you look at like your ancient like the ancient like people that lived, they were eating like a bunch of like meat and they were eating much of that and they were way healthier than us right now.
Yes.
Like
Some of the most recent anthropologic studies are talking about how like gladiators ate a plant predominant diet, a plant forward diet. But do you think that there's anything that we need from animal flesh or secretions, or do you think we could get that protein from plants? What do you think?
No, I think that's unhealthy. I mean, if you see how protein powder is made, it's very unhealthy.
Well, no, I'm not talking about protein powder, but like beans, lentils, tofu, mock meats. Do you think you could get the protein you needed from those products?
No, I mean,
why not?
There's this one guy.
Why couldn't you?
Well, I'm trying to say right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but there's this one guy, and he was on a straight vegan diet, and he was super scrawny, super skinny, and he kept on going, he kept on working
Well,
out
there's
for
also
2
lots
years.
of non-vegans who are really scrawny too, right? So we can't look at the anecdotes like personal examples. We have to look at the studies. And the studies show us that we can get more protein. Well, not a study wouldn't be about one individual. It would be about the overwhelming evidence. And the overwhelming evidence is telling us that we can get all the protein we need from plants. But besides that, let's imagine that you could.
I was just trying to talk about I saw, but you didn't let me say it.
I just want to like imagine like if you could get all the protein you needed from plants, would it be fair to use the animals to kill them if you didn't need to?
I mean, there's no protein in plants, so.
Will you engage with the question like if you could get enough?
Are you gonna get?
If you could get enough protein.
Can you get 160 grams of
Yes,
protein?
you get up to 500 grams of protein on plants.
From what plants?
Plants like tofu, seitan, tempeh, beans, protein shakes.
Protein shakes are unhealthy. You know, I don't really like drinking too much milk because it makes my face have acne.
We're not
And, you know,
talking
it's
about
all
milk. We're
it's
talking
all
about protein
it's all-
shakes.
well, that's protein shakes.
No,
you know?
so cow's milk is not protein shakes. Like there are plant protein shakes made of things like pea protein, pumpkin seed protein that give us more than enough protein that we need as humans to thrive. And if we could get enough, do you think it's fair for us to contribute to animals being used and killed if we don't need to?
I think we need to kill animals to get.
Well, if we didn't need to, do you think it would be fair?
I think we need to. I don't think there's a point of
So you won't engage with like the idea of whether like if we could, would you engage with the hypothetical?
I mean, they already make like fake meat and stuff, and
Mock
it's
meat,
extremely unhealthy.
Do you have evidence for that?
Yup.
What's your study?
My study?
Yeah. What's the title?
I mean, if you eat the
What's the title of the study?
The title of the study?
Yeah, that shows that mock meats are
search
unhealthy.
Just search up Mark Zuckerberg mock meats and see what he's trying to do.
Mark Zuckerberg isn't a scientist, he's an entrepreneur. So we're talking about scientific evidence and studies. Do you do you know any studies? Well, one second. Do you know any studies that show that humans need animals to thrive? Do you have any studies of that sort?
I was just walking, so I don't really have any studies at the top of my head. I could show you studies of other stuff, but I can't show you stuff about animals. But I can show you stuff from
Do you think that
personal
evidence
experience.
exists?
I'm trying to talk, but I can show you from personal experience.
Do you think the evidence exists, though, that humans need to consume other animals in order to thrive?
Of course, it says that in the Bible.
Where does it say that?
It says that in the end times there will be people to tell you to restrain from certain foods.
What verse is that?
Meats. It's one of Apostle Paul's writings. Search it up. I think it's in Corinthians. It says in the end times there will be.
Will you quote it?
What's up?
Will you quote it?
Yeah, you want me to pull it up? Sure. All right, let me just find it for you guys. Are you
Well,
a Christian?
does your religion require you to use other animals? Does it require? Let's talk about that before we look it up.
No, I have free will.
Right. So if you could choose not to contribute, why wouldn't you? If you could choose not to be violent towards animals, why not? What do you think?
I mean, I'm not really violent to them. I mean, you just come up to them and then you like just if you kill them right away, you know.
Do you think it's violent to kill an animal when you don't need to? Do you think it would be violent to kill a dog when you don't need to?
No, because they're not the same as humans. Humans are different creations.
No, not humans, but would it be ethical to kill a dog when you don't need to?
When you don't need to?
Yeah.
Is it ethical to kill a dog?
Yeah.
I mean, no one really eats dog meat, but
Like if they wanted to, if somebody wanted to eat a dog and they wanted to use the dog and kill them to eat their flesh, would that be fair if they had another option?
I mean, if they want to kill it, then they could kill it.
Well, is it fair?
Everybody has free will. I think
I know
it's
that they
fair,
could, but is it fair to the dog?
I mean, yeah, dogs, they don't really have any choices, you know.
Dogs think it's fair to.
I mean,
is it fair to kill the dog when you don't need to?
Let me ask some. Do you have any
Will you
pets?
answer that one first? Do you think it's fair to kill the? Do you think it's fair to kill the dog when you don't need to? Just that question.
I mean, if you just come up to a dog
and you don't need to kill them, you do. Is it fair?
I'm just trying to talk, man. But if you just come up to a dog or a cat and you just straight up go up to them and then you kill them, I mean, I think that's evil. But if
is it evil to do that to a pig when we don't need to?
If you're trying to eat the meat, yeah. Because I mean,
what if you're trying to eat the dog meat? Is it fair or ethical to go and shoot them when you don't need to?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's illegal in America.
Well, let's imagine you're in another country where it's not. Is it fair to the dog?
If you're in another country,
let's take legality out of it. Would it be fair if it was legal?
If it was legal, I think it's fine. Yeah.
Well, we're here to talk to folks who are against dog abuse. No, I'm going to wrap it up here. And would you be interested in taking a card?
Can I say something? Can I say something?
No, you may not. We're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for your time.
I mean, you don't let me talk. So how much?
All right, we're going to wrap up that interview. It's great to have everybody here. Lots of vegans here in the chat. I want to ask everybody here to keep double tapping that screen, share the live as well. We're not here to reach everybody. Folks who aren't open-minded and who aren't against, for instance, dog abuse, they're not good candidates for this conversation. So I was just moving along. I'm not here to argue or spar with anyone, though. Let's see. This guy, this ignorance is insane. Let's hear what's been stated that's ignorant. Let's start up this conversation. Let's have vegans put a 1 in the chat. Vegans put a 1. Non-vegans who are open-minded put a 2. And trolls put a 3. I want to get a sense of who's here in the room with us. Hi, Daniel. It's great to have you here. Great to have the vegans here. It's important to keep that chat somewhat free of discrimination and bigotry. I'm seeing lots of trolls, okay. And lots of curious non-vegans. I'm seeing lots of 2s. I want to open up a conversation with you. What justifies being violent towards other animals? What justifies exploiting them for their body, for their secretions, or for entertainment or clothing when we don't need to? What would justify this exploitation when we live in 2026 and we have an abundance of other options? Is it fair to objectify other animals, like dogs for instance, when we don't need to? If not, what's the difference between a dog and a pig, or a dog and a fish, that would justify the exploitation of the fish or the pig, but not the dog? What's the difference between the animals? Let us know so we can strike up a conversation. For anybody who's joined the live more recently and is curious, we're in Vancouver, Washington. We're on the waterfront, and I want to address some of your justifications for exploiting other animals in the chat, if you'll leave those justifications there. Somebody says killing plants is violent too. So is there a difference between chopping up some green onions and chopping up a live pig? If you grant that there is a distinction and that it's preferable to chop up the green onions, then I think you understand the difference between sentient life, like animals, and non-sentient life, like plants. Somebody says if you were a true vegan, you wouldn't use technology and products that are made by people who eat meat as a result of your purchases. So it's about doing our best. We're trying to activate against this injustice, and one way that we do that is by using YouTube as a megaphone to propel this message. We don't know that somebody was exploited or used to create this mic, but we do know that an animal is exploited, used, and killed when we purchase products that are linked to their exploitation. Somebody says plants are alive too. I've addressed this before. So yes, plants are alive, but they don't have a central nervous system or a brain, so they can't process this sensation of pain. They don't feel pain. If you have a scientific study that goes against that, if you have evidence to suggest that plants do feel pain and are conscious, let's see it in the chat. Paste the title of that study, and we will engage with the evidence. Somebody says, I love the mics. I remember when you got them. We all love them. They're just a little bit more expressive and colorful, just like we are as individuals. Daniel says, murdering animals for pleasure shouldn't be legal. Yeah, I understand where Daniel's coming from. We shouldn't accept in a society needless violence. Why would we? Why should it be acceptable to kill other animals, to use them for their bodies or their secretions or for entertainment or clothing or testing, when we don't need to, when we live in a world where we have another option? What would justify picking up the pig flesh rather than the tofu? What would justify going to the zoo rather than watching the nature documentary where the animals are free? When we have another choice and we don't need to contribute to animals being used and killed on our behalf, why wouldn't we choose the option that boycotts, that opposes that injustice? Let me know what you think. Everybody who's here, keep double tapping that live. Share it as well if you can. Somebody says because tofu tastes like Okay, so this is demonstrating that you might not know how to cook it yet, because tofu just soaks up whatever flavors you use. So it seems like you would have just, I don't know, put some salt on it and tried to eat it, but usually we'll soak it in some sort of sauce so it's marinated and flavorful. And it's quite healthy for us as well. Somebody says, bro, try some protein shakes. I'm trying to see your comment. Since you don't eat meat, you look kind of unhealthy. Okay, we have another medic. We have another medical professional in the chat who's able to diagnose over video. So impressive. Again, that's sarcasm because you cannot do that. That's not how medical research or medical guidance works. My doctor has told me that my plant-only diet is healthful for me, and it's has all of my different nutrients like protein, calcium, has all of them in the middle of the green range when I have my blood tested. I appreciate your concern though. I'm just a little bit warm. My face might be a little flushed because we're in the sun here today. For those curious, we are in Vancouver, Washington. We are on the waterfront and we're having discussions with folks about animal ethics. We're asking, is it ethical to exploit other animals, to use them as objects when we don't need to? Let us know your thoughts. Everybody here, keep double tapping that screen, keep sharing the live. Somebody says, what you're doing isn't how studies are proven. Where did I say that I was conducting a study? I'm here to have conversations with folks. I'm here talking about perspectives and challenging the justifications that humans use to exploit and objectify our animal relatives that we share this planet with. I'm not here to conduct a study. Thank you. Somebody says you're preaching at them. You won't let anyone talk. So this is a YouTube live stream. There is not an ability to bring somebody up. I am engaging with the comments as they come up, but there is almost 100 people here. So if you find your comment not addressed, please paste it again in the chat, and there'll be a chance that I'm able to address it now. Somebody says you use plastic. Let's say I did. What would the problem with that be? Somebody says you need the sun. What does that mean? Somebody says, I'm seeing a lot of trollish comments and I want to engage with y'all. So I'm going to ask the people who put twos, the non-vegans who are open-minded, please do paste your justification for using other animals in 2026 when we have another option. Paste it in the chat comments so that I can strike up a discussion with you. I'm not necessarily going to engage with the trollish comments. Somebody says they will not stop. It's also the case that humans will probably never stop killing each other. But does that mean myself and you should contribute to that? Should we contribute to this problem of humans murdering each other? Or should we oppose it with our individual actions and not violate humans' bodies? Just because everybody else might participate in violence against animals and they might exploit them, does that mean that you and I should contribute when we don't need to? Let me know. Somebody says, I like meat. So this is a very common argument or a very common justification for using other animals. And this one is about pleasure. And I want to ask, is pleasure a good enough reason to take life? Is pleasure a good enough reason to kill a dog? And if not, what would the difference be between a dog and a pig and a fish? That would mean it's acceptable to exploit the fish and the pig, but not the dog. What would the difference between the animals be that justifies treating them so differently? Let's have that discussion. Leave your response in the chat. Somebody says, oh, hi, Spooky, I see you. Great to hi, Jake. Seeing the vegans as I scroll up in the chat. There's a lot of y'all here. Everybody keep double tapping that screen. Keep sharing live. Not necessarily here to spar or argue with the non-vegans, but I am here to open up a conversation about animal ethics. Somebody says, other animals eat other animals. Why can't we? So an animal like a bear or a big cat, they don't have access to grocery stores and farmers markets, as well as they don't have access to seeds to grow their own food as well. So they don't have another option. They are forced by circumstance to kill other animals. But we are not. We have another option. Our circumstance involves another choice. And if we could choose not to participate in the exploitation and violence towards our fellow earthlings, why wouldn't we? That's the question I'm posing. Let's hear your response. Somebody says gay, so that may be true. I don't know. I don't really take on the identity of gay. I'm more of a queer person. But what's the relevance of sexuality to the discussion on animal ethics? Let me know. Hi, Spooky. Spooky, putting a green heart in the chat. I appreciate you. I'm going to have vegans continue to do that. Continue putting green hearts in the chat. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. It helps with engagement. It helps this discussion get out to a broader audience. We think of YouTube as kind of our megaphone to spread a message of compassion for all earthlings and liberation for all. So liking, sharing that live is an important part. Somebody says, hi, could you do a backflip or something? I'm not coordinated enough to pull that off. There is a vegan who sometimes joins us named Daniel Broccoli, who is very talented. He does parkour and he would do a backflip for you on camera. I'm sure he would, but I'm not the one. I don't have that ability. Animals don't have feelings. What's the evidence for that? When you look at a dog or a cat, do you just see some like vegetable that doesn't feel anything? I don't know if I really believe you. But let's say that you do believe this and you think animals don't have feelings. Let's hear your evidence for it. Because all of the declarations that I'm aware of from places like Cambridge and New York, they determine that animals are sentient and conscious. So what evidence, what studies are you using to conclude that animals are not conscious? Let me know. Tell me that study. We want to engage with the evidence. Everybody keep double tapping that screen. Keep sharing the live. It's great to have everybody here. Hi, U-Tops. Don't endorse murder, go vegan. That's a good point. Go vegan for the animals. I'm seeing lots of vegans here. It's great. Somebody says there are plenty of supermarkets that allow bears to shop. A little bit silly, that trollish comment. I think most of us know that bears can't choose to eat plants only. They have to kill others in order to meet their caloric intake. You and I do not. We could choose other foods at the grocery store so that we could have our bodies nourished, we can thrive, without contributing to exploiting the animals we share this planet with. If we have that option, we're just asking, why wouldn't we choose it? What would be our justification to choose to continue exploiting them? Let's hear it. Everybody keep sharing that live, keep double tapping. Vegans, keep pasting green hearts in the chat. I really appreciate y'all. Somebody says, okay, 1 cow, 20 acres, fed like a king, and you just trade milk? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Leave another... Oh, this might be a bot. They have GPT in their name. I'm not sure. Somebody says they taste good. We've heard this a lot of times today. Oftentimes we'll hear the crop deaths argument more, but the argument about taste is one that boils down to satisfaction. Do you think satisfaction justifies exploitation and violence? Would my satisfaction be a good enough reason to be violent and exploit a dog? If not, what would the difference be? Why is it acceptable for other animals then? Let me know. Somebody says, you want to grab a burger? Yeah, I often do eat burgers, just plant-based ones. It's really easy. They're everywhere. They're every grocery store, most restaurants. There's plant-only restaurants. Somebody says, you look unhealthy. We have another medical professional in the chat. So impressive. Let's see. How about a koala bear? What do you mean? What's the relevance of a koala bear? I also don't think it would be preferable or acceptable to exploit them, to use them without their consent. Is that what you're getting at? I'm not sure. Everybody keep double tapping that screen. Keep sharing the live. Somebody says, wait, so bears do not have a choice, so they have to eat other animals. They have to eat other animals. So if it comes down to it, would you eat meat to survive? I'm not sure. I would probably start to lose my mind a little bit as I didn't have enough calories and I got really hungry. Right now, I would probably not want to eat somebody in order to survive. I wouldn't want to eat another human or a dog or any other animal in order to survive. And I don't need to. As people who live in cities or adjacent to them, or even in rural areas, we shop at grocery stores, we shop at farmers markets, we grow our own food, we can access seeds. If we can do that, if we can not participate in this violence and exploitation, why wouldn't we? Somebody says animal experiments will never stop. This might be true. It might be also true that humans will never stop oppressing women, like patriarchy might be really ingrained. But that doesn't mean that you and I should contribute. We should oppose it and seek its abolition. Why not? Why wouldn't we oppose it if we can? Somebody says, I love a good burger. Yeah, there's plenty of options in terms of burgers. You don't have to give up the taste experience of enjoying a burger in order to be against the use of other animals. You can just choose the plant burger. Pink microphone in all caps. Don't you think it's pretty? I think it's lovely. Somebody says, you're malnourished. Evidence? My blood work says otherwise. Somebody says, so you can't address acid? Hypocrite. I don't understand your point. There's a lot of comments in the chat. If I've lost your comment, please paste it again. Everybody who's here, I want to ask you to keep double tapping that screen. Vegans, put green hearts or a 1. Non-vegans who are open-minded, put a 2. Also, if you're a non-vegan and open-minded, leave your justification for exploiting other animals in 2026. Leave that in the chat. And then I'm going to ask the non-vegans who are not open-minded, who are trolls and anti-vegans, put a 3. Thank you to everybody who's joined us. For anyone curious, we are here in Vancouver, Washington. We are on the waterfront. Anti-use is frequently in Oregon State, but today we're in Washington. We're having conversations with y'all in the chat, as well as folks in person who are comfortable enough to come on camera, about animal ethics. We're asking, is it fair to treat animals as objects to be used rather than individuals to be respected? What do you think? All right, I see lots of green hearts from Spooky. It's always great to have your support. Somebody says, hey, I'm thinking about becoming vegetarian. What do you recommend to substitute for meat? So why vegetarian? I want to ask this because this is a diet that is still complicit in animal exploitation in a variety of realms. It still contributes to animal exploitation within the milk and egg industries, as well as within entertainment, clothing, and testing. If it's against your principles to exploit another animal, why not consistently oppose it by living a vegan ethic? Let me know what you think. But in terms of substitutes for meat, some that I enjoy are just some of the mock meats. I buy some from Morningstar. I double check because they're not an all plant-based brand. I like things like soy curls and TVP and tofu and seitan and lentils and beans. Those are all some of my favorite protein substitutes. I like things like Beyond Burgers and Beyond Steak, products like that simulate the foods that I grew up with, but don't involve or don't have contributing to the exploitation of my fellow earthlings. Somebody says, is it moral to be gay? Absolutely. Everyone should have the freedom to be queer and have freedom sexually. We're here more specifically to talk about animal liberation, and we're asking, most of y'all probably support human liberation, but should we consistently extend our liberatory scope to also include our fellow animals that we share this planet with? Why wouldn't we? Somebody says he likes exploiting human males. I'm not sure what that means.
Let's go. Oh, hello. Oh, I look like a skeleton. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Humans aren't free at all. Yeah, you're right. Humans are not free. Humans are, also oppressed and exploited daily. There's not a single thing that anybody could do to convince me otherwise. However, when we talk about, exploitation and oppression, and we look at animals, non-human animals, beyond human animals, we'll see that they are actually exploited and their exploitation and oppression is normalized the most. It's really terrible. Hi, PJ. It's nice to see y'all. Let me see how many vegans are in here. We got 93 people up in here. Let's get some more people up in here. One, and you can just like and share the live. You can send a one in the chat if you're vegan, a 2 in the chat if you are maybe questioning or if you're curious, and a 3 in the chat if you're a troll who's just here to boost the chat and be super helpful in algorithm boosting. Hi Jake, hi Steven, hi Sabi, hello. I was not feeling my hi Nick, I see Nick, Grassfed. It's not feeling great earlier, but now I'll tackle this chat. I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. We can switch though if you want. I just hopped on here. I just took it from Cooper. I'm good. Okay. No worries. Yeah. You said you think this is a strike steam with this. Oh, is there a noise? Let me know. Is the audio good? Bad? Is that terrible? I can't tell if there's Anyway, someone says, what happens to cows and chickens if we don't eat them? Or if we don't need them anymore? What do you mean, don't need them? I mean, like, it's like, what happens to all the slaves if we don't need them anymore? It's like they become individual people, and you stop seeing them as slaves, or, you stop seeing them as food. They start to become individuals and, get to live your life benefiting from the idea that animals are not here for our use and that animals, exist for their own purposes. You can start living in alignment with your morals and your ethics because, just how you wouldn't kick a dog or, hurt somebody else just because they're less stronger than you or look different than you. Now that also applies to animals. So you can actually say you love animals and mean it. You can say you love animals while respecting them. Someone says, after being vegan for a while, how are you dealing with tooth decay? I don't have any tooth decay. I didn't know that was an issue. If you're being genuine, that's kind of funny because I've never heard of that. Somebody says they better not exist to suffer whole life. Also, what higher morals? We are the cruel ones who exploit weaker animals. What's moral about? I don't know. I never said humans are more moral than animals. I'm saying like maybe have more, brain power to like make decisions for others or make decisions in others, interests. But so you don't want these animals to exist in the first place? Sounds even more evil. What's more evil is bringing people to existence just to breed and slaughter them or exploit them or use them for their skin or use them for their hair. Right? That is actually more cruel than not forcing them to have a life. Does that make sense? Someone says, if I was an animal, I'd rather have a human shoot me rather than being eaten raw by a pack of coyotes. I mean, if you were an animal, I would hope that people would just leave you the fuck alone. I mean, sorry, I'm not trying to curse, I guess, but, I would hope people would just leave you alone and let you live out your life because you're a sentient being who deserves respect, and you shouldn't be used for other people's benefit and interests. Someone says, I live around organic farmers who treat their cows and chickens like family. Old cows are slaughtered and are 100% used. If we use them, do we roam them around the place? If we don't use them, do we roam them around the place? I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but you say I live around organic farmers who treat their cows and chickens like family. is treating them like family, slaughtering them when they get old? Or is that, not how we treat our family? Like, I'm wondering, like my grandma's pretty old. Like, should I go slaughter her right now? Animals, they don't exist for us. So it doesn't matter how old they get. They still deserve to live, right? Someone says they are not sentient, bro. Animals are sentient. You can go look that up. Someone says that would definitely be better than exploiting and torturing them for eternity. Yes, I agree. Thank you. Someone says 76 years vegan and currently very happy about it. I have almost no arterial plaque despite my half. Yes, I'm very glad. That's so amazing. 76 years vegan is crazy. I hope it's all. I hope all 76 years it was, amazing. Just like fully against all oppression. So amazing. Cows would love to go extinct instead of make them suffer their while. Yes, exactly. So like think about this. If you were, the last human.
I'm vegan.
Oh my! Fellow vegan in the back. But like if you were the last human alive and they were saying, oh, should we say some alien conservationists, Earth conservationists came up to you and tried to start breeding you for your, sperm so that they could pair you up with a female, and then, you mate, and save the humans. There are so many humans now. Like, would you like that? You're just being used to go forward, as a species. Like, they don't actually care about your experience at all. They're just looking at you and saying, there's only one of you now. There used to be millions of you. Maybe I should just like grape you so that there can be more of you. Someone says people eat tasty animals. Yeah. People eat animals that they think are tasty because of plants, and then they refuse to think about the fact that animals aren't food and that animals aren't here for use. Someone says sentience is defined by the ability to comprehend information, communicate, and manipulate their environment. They are not conscious. They are alive, the same as plants. I agree. You know what? I actually agree with that. And not harming as many plants as well, and not wanting to exploit any plants, you would go vegan on a plant-based diet. Or you could go on a plant-based diet and be vegan, which is going to be acknowledging that no sentient being should be used for your benefit. Sapient is not sentient. Yes, exactly. Someone says he is a bottom.
Somebody says animals are not food.
Someone says vegetables have no protein.
Prove it. Vegetables are not typically what plant-based eaters take to be high in protein. What about things like seitan and tempeh and tofu and mock meats and beans and legumes?
Yeah, who said broccoli had hella protein?
Yeah.
Missed that.
That's for other nutrients.
Someone says, find a hobby, kiddo. You don't belong there. This isn't a hobby to find. There is no, there really isn't nothing really even funny about, what we do out here. Seeing animals as resources and seeing them as food is a very serious topic. You're making the assumption that because somebody looks a certain way or acts a certain way or can't do certain things, that they deserve to be, chopped up, or they at least deserve the, lack of consideration when it comes to, our daily lives. And what we should be doing is considering them every moment of our lives, and also considering how the removal of us from them as relatives has caused us to become totally disconnected with any sense of moral consistency in our and how we treat others.
Somebody says bears eat salmon. Bears need to. Do you?
Yeah. No, the answer is no. You do not need to eat any animal. You don't need to eat any flesh to survive. You can really survive your entire life off of not using somebody else. Someone says wannabe vegans justifying eradicating species of animals. I don't think you understand veganism at all, and I think you're going to sit there and you're going to type about it like you do, but you actually don't. Someone says humans are omnivores. Does might make right? Just because you have the ability to do something, does that mean that you should? Someone says, we triggered those too bad. I actually don't care. You should think about the animals that you use and exploit daily. Because I'm out here talking for them. Salmon has omega-3 and we need omega-3 for brain play. Okay, take a supplement. It's that simple. Someone says, you can do whatever you want, make up whatever excuse you want, but objectively, you do not need me to live, nor... Oh, period. Yes, thank you. I see this Caleb. Thank you, Caleb. So I think you're going to sit in Portland and tell everyone how the world works. That's actually not true because we're in Vancouver. So, funny. Someone says, take a man-mind medicine. Man-mind medicine. That doesn't make any sense. Bears eat berries. The other guy said they had no other options. They can eat berries and ants and all that. Exactly. I mean, like, the ants, they could probably just give on, hopefully. That'd be great, but if they could. But, you know, there's so many things that are... Someone says, please say plants have superior protein. Yes, they do. You can get all your protein on a plant-based diet. It is not hard at all. As long as you're eating enough plants and calories, you will definitely end up with enough to sustain yourself. They proved that a plant-based diet was healthy and sustainable for all stages of life. Why people trying to get them to eat animals? Even the Bible says to respect someone. Exactly, right? So, like, if you're trying to get other people to harm others or to cause suffering to others or exploit others or see others as resources, why? Why is my question, right? Like, I've decided to deepen my connection with animals as a whole and deconstruct this whole idea in my mind that is humans are greater than animals. Why? What do you benefit from? Actually, I know where you benefit from it, but I don't think you do. Where do you benefit from telling me to not do that, to stop, trying to convince me to start using animals for food, thinking that they are food, you know? Somebody says, my ancestors followed the buffalo. Yeah, even that has a lot of history, you know, and the colonization cleared out bison and buffalo so to make room for animal agriculture for farming their cow, pigs, and chickens. So you can even say that animal agriculture is actually also is as much anti-indigenous, actually probably the most anti-indigenous, one of the most anti-indigenous things. So while people try to say that, veganism is in fact anti-indigenous, what's really anti-indigenous is animal agriculture. So, and the colonial mindsets that forced. So we didn't have to move, dummy. Yeah, okay. Go ahead and use whoever you want and force anybody out of their home and not, go back on deals, just because we don't want to have to move. You shouldn't have moved in the first place. People should have stayed where they were. By eating meat, you're killing more plants than being vegan. Yes, that is true. What a religious chatter is going to realize the Bible is fake and no basis for morals. Yeah, I mean, if we want. I don't care.
I'm okay with that because it's 4.
Okay, it's like...
Where did Rebecca go? She already leave?
Oh, did Rebecca leave? Oh, wow.
Well, Rebecca, if you
Mr.
watch back on this, I'm so sorry I didn't say goodbye. Thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you. So I'm sorry I didn't get to say goodbye. I'm really sad.
Yeah, me too. Bye.
Okay.
We'll see you.
Well, let me grab everything.
We're going to end here. We didn't get many conversations on camera, but we got quite a bit of conversations off camera. Lots of talking,
Yes,
lots of talking.
lots.
And lots of nice talking. There were some open-minded people. I had at least, one older guy that was kind of like...
There we go.
He's like, it's just a lot of people who walk by and they end up going, you gave me a lot to think about. Like, I'll definitely be thinking about this. And that's really the goal. So...
Awesome. So yes, Vegan Stoner Lady here. You can find me on every platform basically. You can also find us Anti-Animal Use on every platform. Please follow Anti-Animal Use, and please also follow, I don't know actually if they're going to go live today, but please go follow Total Liberation Now. And tomorrow, Vegan Stoner Lady will be live in person in Portland. So please go follow Vegan Stoner Lady here on YouTube. And I think we really had a successful day. So I'm going to finish passing the mic around. Everyone can say goodbye.
Hi, it's Pam. Thank you all for being here. Go vegan. Be vegan.
I'm Minx, militant_Minx on Instagram.
I am Genderless Enigma on Instagram. Elvin and I are Total Liberation Now as well. If you found these conversations interesting or thought-provoking, do consider subscribing to Anti-Animal Use, because we are here just about every week having similar discussions. Thank you to all the vegans. Thank you to the mods. We really appreciate everybody's support. And with that, we'll wrap it up on the waterfront.
Bye, 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 bye.